Hey, what's up? What's up? This your boy Lou Huru Reviews. I'm back at it again with another video. Hey, what's up, guys, man? This is your boy Lou Huru Reviews, and I'm back at it again. I got another Law and Order. I'm sorry, guys. I got another Law and Crime video. This is the story of 5-year-old Janiyah Russell. I'm sorry if I butchered that name wrong. I'm sorry. My condolences. Uh, Janiyah Russell is a heartbreaking tragedy. Yeah, her story was barely covered. So let's see what this story is about. Obviously it got to be something that tragically happened. At the top it says 5-year-old dies after bath time with her dad's girlfriend. Man, you guys, man, you gotta be cautious with the girls y'all end up dating, man. I'm telling you, y'all boys gotta be cautious, bro, because there's some crazy females out here, man. But let's get to it. Let's see what happens, man. Hopefully, she get what she deserves, and I'm talking about the girlfriend. I already started off with a crazy
Could that have
eerie
possibly happened when I did CPR
vibe,
on her? Because I was pushing her whole body.
These lacerations, I told you, we see this in airplane crash victims.
I love you so much.
Yeah, we do.
Jesus gonna watch over you, and He's gonna protect you and keep you safe.
All right, so that's the
Okay.
grandma,
Okay?
I'm
And
guessing.
He's gonna heal your mind
That's
and your
the
soul
daughter.
and your body. And He's gonna cover you.
Janiyah.
Yep. And there's gonna be a hedge of protection around you. And we're gonna see you again. I don't know when, but we're gonna see you again,
And
my
she
friend.
looks pretty smart too
Okay,
for a
my friend.
5-year-old. And
It's not over until the truth comes
oh
out.
man, so this thing is 2 hours, bro. 2 hours and 35 minutes. That's a little bit long. I'm gonna try to stick it through. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to make it that long. I don't even know if I got enough,
Came and
like,
visited at my mom's house.
if I got even enough, like, hard drive space for that. But I do got
She was my granddaughter.
a hard drive, so hopefully my internal storage space can handle it, and I'll transfer it over to my actual
I
storage
knew
drive.
it was going to be intense. I knew it was going to be graphic. I knew it was going to be a lot of what most people may not be able to handle, but I needed to know what happened to my granddaughter.
Wow, that's crazy. So that's her. So that's the grandmother.
Colorado-born Janiyah Russell should be 10 years old right now. And
10
she
years
should be
old,
focused on little more than laughing with loving family members or riding her
So that
bicycle
means she
with her
died
friends.
5 years before that video. Before the taking of the audio.
Janiyah should be watching Paw Patrol, reading children's books, and getting her little fingernails painted. This smiling little girl should be a big sister to her 4 siblings, and she should be helping her grandmother bake a batch of cookies before happily consuming her fair share of them alongside the
Like kids, bro. I'm not gonna be stopping too long, but too often. But I just don't know how can people be so evil to where they can harm a child so bad that the child dies. You get what I'm saying? Like, I get it. There's a lot of murderers out here. There's a lot of gunplay. There's a lot of people out here that's killing and doing some crazy things. But for you to inflict, that much damage into a child to the point where the child dies, I think you're just evil, man. You're just evil. And honestly, bro, like there's nothing I could do. Like there's nothing I can say to kind of like be the devil's advocate. And would I even want to? You know what I'm saying? Would I even want to? Nah, man. Like I think you deserve everything the law throws at you, plus more. You know what I'm saying? So let's get back to the video.
ones she loves. She should be lighting up everyone's lives with her big, easy grin, and she should be the donor of the best hugs the world has to offer. Janiyah should. But Janiyah Russell will never participate in any of these typical childhood activities again. As a matter of fact, there will be no new experiences for innocent Janiyah. And that's because her life was taken when she was just 5 years old. It was callously snuffed out by the actions of pure evil. The people who were supposed to protect her from the beasts of this world ended up being the very monsters that stole her final breath. And for that, those that harmed Janiyah Russell shouldn't have the right to inhale. They shouldn't have the right to blink, to eat, to drink, to smile, or even to think. I shouldn't know who this little girl is, and this video should not exist. Instead, Janiyah should. Today, I will tell her story. We'll also hear from her grandmother, who personally reached out and asked me to cover it so that Janiyah Russell may be remembered. But also because those who truly cared about Janiyah are still searching for answers. You're about to see never-before-released crime scene photos and body cam footage.
This has to be a joke.
Well, unfortunately, I'm sorry it's not.
This is the horrific account of how an innocent bundle of light and joy was extinguished by the hateful darkness that surrounded her. I'm Mr. Black, and this is the disturbing truth. On July 27th of 2022, I received an email from a woman named Janiyah Russell requesting to speak to me about the murder of her 5-year-old granddaughter. After researching what I could about the case, I realized that there was so little out there about this child. Very few articles and almost no one telling her story. Miss Russell asked me if I would be her granddaughter's voice, a duty I accept and commit to handle with care. Here is Janiyah's story.
Let's get into it. Chapter 1, water damage.
On Wednesday, September 11th of 2019 at around 7:45 a.m., 911 received a call from someone alleging to be the babysitter of a child that was unresponsive at an apartment complex in Las Vegas called The Suites.
That don't even look like an apartment complex, man. That look like a motel. You know what I'm saying? One of those extended stays.
South or Bolton Highway, the street.
What apartment number?
In 1161.
I'm sorry, 1161?
Yes, in building in.
N is in Nancy?
Yes.
All right, tell me exactly what happened.
I don't know. I gave my daughter or my little girl I was babysitting. I gave her a bath, and she, I don't know what's going on at this point.
How old is she?
She's 5.
Is she awake?
No, she's unresponsive at the moment.
Okay, so is she awake and unresponsive, or is she unconscious?
I'm not really sure.
Okay, so are you where she's at right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, look at her. Is her eyes open? Is she passed out?
I'm not sure if she's passed out. Her eyes are kind of open.
Okay. Is she breathing?
I'm not really sure. I can't tell.
Okay. So these are questions. All right, we're getting help started, but these are questions that are very important for me to know. So what I need you to do is put your ear next to her mouth and see if you can feel or hear any breathing.
No,
it doesn't.
Okay,
it doesn't
so let's
hear
go
like
ahead
she
and get her on her back
anything.
on the floor. Do that right now.
Okay, she's on the floor, on the back.
Okay, and she's still, on her back on her back on the floor.
Seem like she was trying to.
All right, she's still unconscious, not breathing, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. Okay, you're gonna place the heel of, and you said she was. Did you come in there and find her like that, or were you in there with her when she did that?
On her bed, and I went in there to check on her, and now she's just unresponsive.
All right, this is what we're gonna do. Okay, so
and then on top of this is my problem. You're babysitting someone. I mean, I understand. You know, that's not your child, right? So you might not be as, how can I say this, as traumatic, but I don't care if it was my child or somebody else's child that I was supposed to be responsible for. I think if the child was being unresponsive, I would have been freaking out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would be freaking out, you know. And just on her mannerism, I feel like she's not freaking out at all. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's kind of like shocking to me a little bit. Like, why are you not going crazy? You know what I'm saying? Even if it's not your child, even if it's you are the babysitter. You know what I'm saying? I think, especially as a woman, I can understand a guy being very, like, you know, a little bit, you know, more controlling his emotions a little bit. But for a woman, I mean, not trying to sound sexist or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, you know how hysterical women could get, especially when it comes to their babies or any baby. You know what I'm saying? For something like this to be going on and they're not, you know, being hysterical, they're not rolling over the ground, like, you know, Trust me, I had experiences of children having to go to the hospital. Not my children, but other children around me. Having to go to the hospital. And trust me, the women around me was just blowing it out of proportion. And for so this woman to be babysitting someone else's child, and the only thing she's talking clearly, she's not, and then she's giving signs that she's not even like checking the child. Putting your, I mean, that's the first thing I would do. You know what I'm saying? Put my ears to the child's mouth, put my hands on the stomach, feel if the, respirations, if the, if when someone's, breathing, their chests are, you know, going up and down. You know what I'm saying? So that movement, shaking the child, seeing the child not twitching or anything like that, that's just crazy for, them to, for, the dispatcher to be asking you these questions and you don't got the answers to them. You know what I'm saying? Even before I called 911, I would already know. Like I would already have those answers. So let's just get back to it.
Go ahead, and do you know if you have a defibrillator in the house?
No, I do not.
Okay. So you're going to place the heel of your hand in the center of her chest, okay, and just make sure there's no pillows or nothing underneath her neck, okay?
There's nothing.
All right, and just look at her mouth and make sure there's nothing in it. If it is, take it out.
Nothing in her mouth.
All right, so you're going to place your hand on her forehead, the other hand underneath her neck, and then you're going to tilt her head back, okay? And one more time, I just want you to put your ear next to her mouth one more time and see if you can feel or hear any breathing.
I don't feel or hear anything.
All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you how to do mouth to mouth, okay? So what
I mean, is it just me or she's just like very like out of it? Like she don't got no sense of empathy. Like you know how when a serial killer kills someone, they don't have no ounce of like human in them. Like you get what I mean, right? That's how she sound like. She sound like a serial killer, bro. I don't know, man. If it's just me, I don't know. But this lady, there's something wrong with her. I don't know what it is yet, but I bet we're gonna find out.
Gonna do, you're gonna pinch her nose closed and completely cover.
I did want to say this too. The other day she did ended up getting, I guess some girls were bullying her because she played outside and stuff like that. And I guess they ended up jumping on her.
Okay.
And I don't know if that could have possibly had anything to do with this, because she did get beat up pretty bad from the situation.
Did she go to the hospital when that happened?
No, she didn't, because we thought it was kids stuff. So.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and let's start this. Okay, they are coming though. Is there somebody else there with you that can open the door for us?
Nobody's here.
All right. All right. Okay, so this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna pinch her nose closed and completely cover her mouth with your mouth.
Honestly, that for her to be saying that like so early in the, I wouldn't even call this an investigation yet because she's talking to the dispatcher, and I don't see how she would already be saying something like that. Honestly, I feel like she's already trying to make up her story. She sounds real fishy, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna immediately throw her under the bus yet, but she's already sounding fishy to me, man.
You're going to blow 2 regular breaths into her lungs, okay? About 1 second each, just to make the chest rise with each breath, okay?
Okay.
All right. So did you feel or see the air go in and out, or did her chest rise at all?
Her chest rose, and then the air just blew out her mouth.
All right. And she's still unconscious and not breathing?
I'm assuming.
Okay. It's still the same as what it was when you checked just before you did that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you're going to place the heel of her hand on her breastbone, right between her nipples. Okay. No, your hand. You're going to place the heel of your hand, okay, in the center of her chest. You're going to, and then with the heel of your hand touching the chest, you're going to push down about 2 inches, and you're going to start pumping her chest hard and fast 30 times, at least twice per second. So I'm gonna count with you, okay? And then after the 30 times, we're going to do 2 breaths, okay? So let's start pumping, okay? We're going to 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now go ahead, pinch her nose, tilt her head back, and blow 2 more breaths into her lungs, okay?
Okay.
Let me know, and once you do that, start pumping her chest again 30 times.
Oh, sorry.
Now if she wakes up, We're gonna. They're there. Okay, I'll go ahead and let them take over. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
When the first responders arrived, the
crazy,
child,
man.
5-year-old
This is real
Janiyah
crazy,
Russell,
man.
was laying on the floor of the residence near the
I'm
couch.
just-
She wasn't breathing, she had
Alright.
no pulse, and she was
No
unresponsive to pain. Only one other person was in the apartment when the medics arrived at around 7:50 a.m. And that person was 23-year-old Shevhaun
23
Miller.
years old.
She told the first
man.
responders that the last time she had checked on Janiyah was around 4 a.m. Immediately, bruising was
23
observed
years
around
old,
the
man.
child's face.
That's just
Then
crazy.
when the medics cut off her shirt so they could administer aid, they found similar significant damage to her torso as well. Shevhaun Miller told them that the little girl doesn't have any previous medical history. She also ruled out any possible
So
injury
that lets you know right
resulting
there.
from a
That's the
fall.
that's the whole reason why she was saying she got jumped outside, because she knew for a fact that once the police officers get there, they was gonna see all those bruises that the little girl had on her already. You know what I'm saying? So she was trying to get her story together. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why she said that. Point blank, period. That's the reason why she said that, bro. Because I don't understand why she would say something like that. That's what it was. She probably realized, yo, when they get here, they're gonna see all these goddamn bruises that's on this girl, and I'm gonna be in trouble. They're gonna put this on me. So I need to start, letting them know now. You get what I'm saying? But if you're innocent of that, that shouldn't even be, something that you should like be kind of worried about. You know what I'm saying? If she did get jumped by a group of kids, there would have been a way to act on that, especially if they're outside. You know what I'm saying? They would have been able to go around the apartment complex and figure out who these kids is that put this much damage on this girl. You get what I'm saying? So it's already. I'm telling you, man. Most likely she had something to do with this. Period.
Miller did, however, mention that Janiyah had been in a fight outside with other children a few days prior. Janiyah was rushed to Sunrise Hospital in the back of an ambulance. Upon arrival at the hospital, the child's body temperature was only 88 degrees. This is about 10 degrees cooler than it should have been. Janiyah was described as covered in bruises. Contusions were found on her forehead, eyes, lips, neck, arms, legs, and stomach. She had also sustained lacerations to her mouth and nose. Then she had serious bruises to her bottom, as well as 2 black eyes. Observations also revealed 3 broken ribs that were determined not likely to be from CPR. But the worst of all Janiyah's injuries was a major laceration on her liver that led to internal bleeding, which, sadly, the little girl never recovered from. She'd passed away.
My bad, y'all. So basically, with all of those injuries she had, she probably wouldn't have died. But what killed her is that laceration to her liver. That one hit a quitter. You know what I'm saying? Somebody had to be. I mean, come on, 2 broken ribs. Come on. What type of punishment? What type of harm was you inflicting on this girl to the point where you gotta break her ribs, bro? You know what I'm saying? And I get it. They're a child, but they already realize, like, no, there's no possible way somebody could have damaged a child like that by just doing CPR. So that's out of the question. You know what I'm saying? That's out of the question. So this woman was inflicting that much damage to a 5-year-old child. Like, how mad can you get, bro? Like, I understand there's sometimes when kids can get on your nerves. Like, trust me, there's some times when you probably do gotta put a little tap to their booty. You know what I'm saying? And there is sometimes when you are a little bit too overboard with your spanking. You know what I'm saying? But for a child to get that much, you know, cruelty, bro, that's just crazy to me. I don't think I even have to, like, as tough as a man can get, bro. Like, I don't think I have that much, anger in me, bro. You get what I'm saying? To inflict that much pain into a child, bro, to the point where I'm breaking bones, and you know what I'm saying? I'm breaking bones and I'm I'm creating internal bleeding and stuff like that. That's not. Let's get back to the show because I'm gonna go forever if I'm if I'm talking about this, bro. This lady is crazy.
Long before she got to the hospital.
Exactly. You know, she died September 11th, 2019. That was.
I got a phone call from
6
social
years
services
ago,
or from
almost 6 years
CPS.
ago.
He
September is
called
gonna make
me
it 6 years ago.
and he
This
said,
September.
I have to tell you something. I have some news. And I'm like, couldn't even fathom to think of what he was going to tell me next. He said, I was reading the paper. He said, Janiyah. And I said, who? He said, she passed away. I said, who passed away? What do you mean she passed? It was like an immediate emotional separation from that moment, that phone call.
How can you read?
It's fuzzy after that. And I just
I don't
remember
get it.
saying, what? And
How
according
can
to Sarah, my youngest daughter, she was there. And as soon as I said, what? Like, think of a bomb. And when it
I don't understand
hits, it
how
just explodes
can
out.
the grandma
So when I said
find
that,
out
she
so
came
late?
running in the room. And according to her, she said she had to catch me because I was going down.
I don't understand how it took her that long to realize that her granddaughter passed away. Like the family don't got that no kind of communication.
Right? They don't live with your daddy. You know that, right?
Yes.
Where's the mother?
You
Where's
don't
the
have phone with
father?
your
That's what
daddy?
I'm trying to figure out.
That's good. You can call
Okay,
Grammy
there you
anytime,
go.
okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna give your daddy my phone number.
She was sent to live with her father.
'Cause I love you.
There you go. So she was
I'm
living
gonna
with the
talk
father.
to my mommy, and then I'm talking to my mommy when he's being mean to me.
Okay. That ought to be interesting.
And
Okay.
She's so cute.
then my dad wouldn't me because that's why mommy tell me I can don't my dad touch me, and then he's still touching me
No. Hopefully he
at the house.
we won't be doing all of that, okay? And
Okay.
you just have a great time with your daddy, okay?
Okay.
Crazy.
Why mommy tell me don't my dad touch me, and then he's still touching me.
I mean, as her father, I mean, you know, she's 5 years old.
The coroner stated that the injury to her liver was so severe that it likely killed her within minutes. But these weren't the only damages Janiyah Russell
That's
sustained.
like-
There were small tears and abrasions to the little girl's genitals, inside and out. The doctor
What?
claimed he believes these are from blunt force trauma and introducing something foreign into the child's body. Then,
What the
underneath Janiyah's fingernails, a male sperm sample was found, as well as another smaller sperm fraction inside the child. Both of these were sent away for DNA testing. Janiyah's death was ruled a homicide, and her cause of death, blunt force trauma. Her tiny
Please
little
don't tell me
body
this is not-
seemed to
this
have
is
been
the-
used
this is
as
not the
someone's
father, bro.
punching bag. This beautiful child with an infinite smile and never-ending energy had quite clearly been beaten to death. If the coroner was
I'm
right,
sorry, but, you know,
one
she's
can
doing
only
the-
hope
she's
that her
doing the
passing
bleed,
was
you know,
quick
you know,
and
she's
she
doing the
didn't have to
Kodak.
suffer for long. Her estimated time of death was initially believed to have been within an hour of first responders arriving. But that's something we'll come back to later.
Yeah,
because
because
it may
she was
very
already
well be an
87
important
degrees.
key to what actually
Normally,
happened.
human's body is like what?
What you're
90,
about to see is the body
97,
cam footage
98?
from Sunrise Hospital. This takes
She was
place
already
shortly after
87.
arrival, before Shevhaun gives official voluntary interviews to police. This is the first time you'll see her on camera. Pay no attention to the time shown on the body cam, as it's inaccurate.
Hey, ma'am. Are you babysitter?
Yes.
Are you family?
Yeah.
Okay, who are you? I need to stay right here, please. Okay. I know this is very difficult right now, okay? I just need to get some information from you really quick, okay? And
Man, she about to go down, bro.
I need
Fuck
to
that, bro.
Get that, and then we'll go to the
Fuck that, bro. I can't even deal with this, bro. She got to go down,
who are
bro.
you to the child? Nobody? Are you family?
No, I was dating her dad, so I just did this girl.
Okay, and what's your last name?
I was dating her dad, and that's as far as it concerns me. So basically, you feel like you don't got no type of relationship to that girl at all. And that's the problem right there, bro. And that's the problem right there, bro.
What's your date of birth? And your social? No? Okay. And a good phone number for you, please? Thank you. Is it Shevhaun?
I'm trying to figure out what male
And then
DNA.
who's the
Who is
father?
that, bro?
What's his name?
What male DNA,
Who are
bro?
you dating? Richard Davis?
Richard Davis.
Do you know his date of birth? And what's child's name? Janiyah. Can you spell it, please?
JANYAH.
And her last name, Davis? Okay, do you know her date of birth?
August 26, 2014.
Ah, man.
Thank you.
Damn, bro. She's
Okay,
like,
you said she got jumped at school?
No, she's not in
she's
school.
a Virgo.
I don't know what really happened.
She's actually
It was
real
just
close to my birthday.
in our
Real
neighborhood.
close.
I sent her outside to play, and she came back
At the
looking,
suites?
looking roughed up
And when was
crying.
this?
It was like the day before yesterday or yesterday.
So Monday?
Possibly, yeah.
You could tell.
Okay, so
Look,
you
she's
went
not
to let
even
her outside
looking
to
in
go
his
play,
eyes,
she came
bro.
back all scruffed up?
It might have been yesterday, yes.
Yesterday? Okay.
She's not even looking into his eyes. That's one thing that I don't like.
Did you call medical at any time or anything at that
I
point?
didn't because I thought, it was just some kid stuff. And
Roughhousing or something?
Yeah, it was no
Okay.
big deal.
Did it progress? Did she complain of anything in the
I
past?
just didn't send her back outside after that. And like I said, I was telling the nurse that when she was in
You hear what he asked her? He asked her, did she tell you if she was hurting or anything like that? And her answer was, I just didn't let her go back outside. Which means, is that a yes or a no? You know what I'm saying? Like, I get, what you did after she, supposedly she came outside from getting roughed up or anything like that. But did she complain at all? Like, what is your excuse for not, seeking medical attention? You know what I'm saying? Like, did she seem okay? Was she complaining, crying? Like what? You know what I'm saying? Because don't get me wrong, she could have been a little bit complaining, but if from your point of view, you probably could have been like, it's nothing. It's just kid rough stuff. You know what I'm saying? She's probably still eating, still playing around in the house, so she's like, or whatever. It's not that big of a deal. Because you can tell, you can see the signs when a child is really hurting. You know what I'm saying? Their motor skills go completely down. They don't want to really move around like that. They're just stuck in one certain little area and stuff. So let's get back to it.
tub, she was like on her side, so she was kind of like sniffing and drinking the water. I don't really know how to explain it much, but she was like,
This morning?
it was last night. She took
Okay.
a bath, or yeah.
Okay, and then what happened this morning?
And I went to go. She went to bed last night. Everything was fine. Went to go check on her. Like I said, she was up 4 o'clock. I would say around that time.
This morning?
Looked at me. Maybe it was a little later, maybe 5. She looked at me, lay back down, didn't really say anything. Then I went to go check on her again, and she was just staring up.
What time did you look at her again?
Around 6, maybe 7. No, it must have been around 6.
And she wasn't responding to you?
No. I'm sorry, I'm trying to check the time.
And then that's when you called 911? You called at 7:45?
Yes, so I would say about 7 is when I checked on her. And I laid back down because I thought she was just playing or just laying there.
Okay. And then that's when you called 911?
Yes.
Okay.
When I realized she wasn't playing.
Okay. Alrighty. Just hang tight for me, okay? We'll get some people to, would you like, I know you have somebody here, would you like somebody else to come help you through this process?
I don't know what to do.
Okay. Just hang tight for me, okay?
Hi, young lady. You awake? Hi.
I'm not sleeping.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I didn't want to assume. I'm Officer Marshall of Las Vegas Metro. Hey, are you able to do a volunteer statement?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna bring you one. Okay. I know you already talked to Officer Crevettes, so I'm not gonna re-question you a bunch of stuff and all that. I'll get any information I need from him. Okay. And really, he's still in charge of whatever's going on over here. Okay. What happened to your head? How did you get scratched up? What happened to your head? How did it get scratched up?
I'm not sure. I didn't even know I was scratched up.
No? Okay.
Stuff happens.
Yeah. I get it. You from Cali? Is that 504? Oh, I thought that was Southern Cali. I'm gonna close this out so you can have some peace.
There's no peace.
Well, you know what I mean. So other people aren't all up in your business, you know?
This has to be a joke.
Well, unfortunately, I'm sorry it's not. I'm gonna explain this to you, okay? You can take your
Honestly
time,
feel
fill it out
like
at your
she's
convenience if you want to fill it out, okay?
completely playing
Here,
this, bro.
I'll
Like
give you
she's
this
playing
to
this
work
off.
on.
Like she's acting right
So
now,
if you want
bro.
to start here,
As much as
can you see
I
it or
know,
no?
I'm trying to like sympathize with her, but
This is your name, okay?
I honestly
Just fill
feel
out
like
all this information
she's
as
not
correctly
telling
as
the
you can,
truth right
including a
now,
good
bro.
address and a phone number for you.
Because
And the details, it's literally whatever you know happened.
she's not
okay?
like
from last night, I know there was some.
I don't
of some
see
water
any
getting
like
swallowed
real
and stuff
sympathy
like
from
that.
her, bro.
Probably important stuff to put in here.
I don't see
okay?
no anxiety.
When
I
you're
don't
all
see
done,
like,
I'll be right here
the only
with you,
thing
okay?
the only thing I see right now, and I'm trying to
Any
be
questions for anything so
dead
far?
ass, bro. I see is what I see from her right now is guilt. That's what I see. I see is guilt.
Keep trying what?
To save her.
That's what I see, bro. I don't know if it's me and I'm being biased right now, but from what I see right now, it's all I can see is guilt, bro.
She was just mean. So where do we go from here?
Well, a couple detectives will come out. Obviously, they're going to have to do a little bit of an investigation, at least to determine what happened with the child.
You
And,
hear
they'll
what
talk to
she
you.
said, right? So
And
where do we go from
for
here?
your side of the story, whatever happened. That's what I
You
said.
know
You
what I'm
don't
saying?
have to fill
Because
this
that's
out
what she's
because
really
they're
worrying
gonna come
about.
here and talk to you anyway.
She putting on this show for them,
and
bro.
then from there,
Just
whatever
so
they decide will happen,
they don't
or
suspect
whatever
her of
their
anything.
investigation
But
will
come
lead
on,
them,
bro.
we'll go from there.
The investigation haven't even started, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, so all that fakery you doing right now, that ain't nothing, bro.
Girlfriend or babysitter
Has
has some cuts on the back of her head. They look pretty fresh. Has no idea how
Boom.
they got there. Thank you. You can see it in between the braids. Yeah. But it looks pretty fresh.
Shortly after this body cam footage concludes, investigators arrive at the hospital and record voluntary statements from Shevhaun Miller. This is an edited down version of the first one.
Today's date is September 11th, 2019, and the time is 10:57 in the morning. This interview is taking place at Sunrise Hospital.
Slow.
Also present is Detective Hernandez, P number 7567, and investigator Rosalind Flores
The reason
from the
why
coroner's
I got it
office.
is because
Are you from Vegas?
You know.
Where are you originally from?
Louisiana.
But
Louisiana?
Yeah, let me put it there,
How long have you been out here?
Since I was 13.
Okay. Did your family move from Louisiana, or did you come out here by yourself?
I moved with my auntie, and then I was in foster care.
Okay. All right. Now,
you're gonna get.
it's
I'm
my
gonna look a
understanding
little,
that you live
choppy,
with
but
a Mr.
better
Richard
than nothing.
Davis. Yes. Okay. And that's your boyfriend? Okay. How long have y'all been dating?
5 years.
5 years? Okay.
This is
Do
when we're
y'all
gonna
have
get to
any
the
children?
nitty gritty right here, bro.
And does he have any other children other than Janiyah? Did I say it right? Okay.
At least
How
he
long
said
have you guys
it
lived
better
over
than I
40,
did.
55?
Like 4 or 5 months.
About 4 or 5 months.
Wow.
Okay.
4 or 5 months.
Okay. Have you?
And I want to know
worked
how
prior?
long they've
What
been
kind of
together.
work did you do?
Call center, surveys.
Okay. Was that here in town in Vegas?
Yes.
Okay. And you say you've been out here since you were 13? Well, let's see. How old are you now?
23.
23.
10
Okay.
years.
So you've been here for 10 years. All right. Does Richard work?
He did.
He's not currently working. What kind of work did he do?
Walmart.
Walmart. Okay. When was he let go?
About 2 weeks ago.
About 2 weeks ago. Okay. So I guess my question
where is he
how are
now?
you paying the bills if neither one of you are working?
Oh, well, since neither one of us is working, like, we have outside help and stuff like that.
Okay, so you got friends and family, maybe, or?
Yeah, we were supposed to be moving with somebody.
So you've pretty much been involved with Janiyah since she was born, since she was a baby, yeah?
No, he just got custody of her a year ago.
Okay. So the mom had did they share custody prior to that?
No.
So mom had full custody, and now he has full custody.
Pretty much.
Okay. Do you have any contact with the mom?
Not really. She calls, but when she calls, we just let her talk to Janiyah. She don't really talk to us as much.
Okay. All right then. Do you have any family here in town currently?
So that means the mom is there, but the dad had got full custody, and I'm
not with yours.
I'm guessing the mom was in a worse
Richard,
state.
does he have any
you know what I'm
family
saying?
here?
We seem like everyone. So
Okay.
I guess the
Does
mom was in
anyone
a
else
worse,
live with you
way
guys
worse
over at,
state
4855?
for them to
in the
allow
household
the
pets,
father
dogs,
to get full
cats,
custody.
birds?
just a cat.
Just a cat?
Yeah, the
Okay.
cat.
Who takes care of
I mean, what happened to the
Janiyah when
cat?
you guys were
Shit.
working?
If she's in
He's
such
with her.
a horrible state like that, who had a cat?
Typically when he works, I work on his off days. So the days that he's off, I stay at home with her. And then the days that I'm off, he stays at home with her. And then we need somebody to, we just have somebody to watch her if we need to.
Okay. And how is Janiyah? Is she a healthy little girl? Is she playful, active?
Yeah, all of that.
Any medical concerns with her?
Not at all.
Did she go to school?
She was about to start.
She about to start to go to what's fine? So kindergarten?
She's smart. She was going to be in first grade.
Oh, okay. Was she already enrolled?
No, we were moving around, so we didn't, like I said, he just got her, so he didn't really have her social. And the little girl we were babysitting, we had to pick her up from school, and he was going to see if we could put her in her school.
All right. So let's, what I'd like to do is we want to talk about how we all ended up here today. You know, just be honest with me and tell me the story, all right?
Yesterday, she was outside playing, and she came back in the house crying because she had run into a scuffle. But last night, after dinner and stuff, she ended up getting in the bath. She was in the tub, and it's like she was like sniffing or drinking the water, and I had to correct her about it because she was like, I don't know if she was like, I don't really know how to explain how she was doing it, but she was like trying to breathe almost in the water. Like, I don't really know how to explain it, but so like I said, I corrected her about that everything was fine. Put her to bed, checked on her. Like I said, she wakes up periodically, so a few times out the night she gets checked on. And by 4 o'clock, I would say 4 o'clock because it was right before her dad left, got up and checked on her. She was fine, she was up. He left. Like, I laid back down, went to sleep, got up to check on her because, normally she's up at a certain time. And she was just staring. I don't really know. It's that look she had. I thought she was just laying there or just playing, but normally if she sees me, she'll pop her head up or something. So I just didn't pay any mind to it. So I went to go lay back down for like another 30 minutes until I realized she didn't get up to knock on the door. She didn't call for me or nothing. So I went to go check on her again, and she was still looking the same. And so I was just like, okay, something's wrong. And at that point, I called her dad, and then I called the hospital.
Okay, so you say yesterday, which is going to be Tuesday the 10th, you said she was outside and that she had gotten into a scuffle.
Or something up to where she came back just ruffled up, yes.
About what time do you think that was?
It was like later on in the day, older time of day, maybe 4 or 5 o'clock, maybe.
So about 4 or 5? Who was home at that time?
I believe it was just me home at the time.
So she say that she came into the apartment. Mm-hmm. How did she look?
Beat up. Like her eyes, her face, she just looked like somebody had roughed her up. Her hair was pulled. Her clothes were messed up. Like she was all dirty and stuff. Like she was just outside playing or, getting roughed up or something. And by the time we went out there to go see what was going on, everybody was gone. It was nothing or no one to be found.
All right. Well, so what did she tell you happened?
She was just like, they were being mean to her. And I kept saying, who was they? She was like, the kids. Like, she was just really upset.
So she didn't tell you the names of any of the kids, or
she had just started going outside. So I don't think she would even know their names like that. Because, like, we don't send her outside like that. It shouldn't have been no kids on her, to be honest, but...
Has she got hurt like that before outside?
She don't go outside. So
this is the first time she's ever been outside?
It's not the first time she's been outside. That's just one of the first few times.
Okay.
And I didn't really think to, ask where were you at when, I figured I knew where she was at.
Did you hear any fighting? Did you hear kids?
I always heard kids because we live right by the pool.
Did you hear her cry out or cry for help, or
No.
you didn't hear her screaming or crying or anything like that?
She's a tough kid. She don't.
She's tough? Okay. So she comes in after the incident outside. Did you check her body out to see what was going on? Did you see if she was hurt?
She was.
And what did you see hurt?
Her face.
Can you, well, so what was on her? What did you see on her face?
She had a black eye, and then like the other side of her face was kind of messed up. It was some other things. I don't know. I think her mouth might have been messed up.
So what happens after you check her out?
I checked her out, made sure, like I said, I went to go see what was going on outside. Everything had died down at that point.
Did y'all have dinner that night?
Yeah, of course.
What was for dinner?
Well, we don't honestly have much in the house right now, so she just had tater sauce and a sandwich.
Did she eat what normal size portions?
Yes.
What time do you think dinner was?
She got to bed at 9, so I would say it was like maybe 8:30 or 9.
Okay. So at 8:30, 9 o'clock, she seems fine. She had supper. Is Richard home at this time?
Yeah.
So he's back. What time did he arrive home?
Like right before she had to go to bed, so like 8 something.
Okay.
It was like 8 something.
And where was he at?
Janiyah's father, Richard Davis, was gone during the time Shevhaun claims the little girl was in a scuffle with other children on September 10th. He was, in fact, at a Popeye's chicken restaurant eating food with another man. We can verify this with security footage from the establishment. During the video, while waiting for his food to be made, he can be seen being very annoyed about something. I have no clue and can't even begin to speculate about what made him so frustrated. Nevertheless, for the purpose of creating a timeline, let's quickly recap what Shevhaun says happened to Janiyah from Tuesday, September 10th when Richard was out eating, until emergency personnel arrived the following morning. According to Shevhaun during her first interview with police, between 4 and 5 p.m. on Tuesday, September 10th, Janiyah is in an altercation with children outside the apartment complex she lives in. She comes home crying, upset, and beat up, sustaining a black eye, additional facial damage, possible mouth injuries, and pulled hair amongst other signs she's been roughed up by someone else. But when Shevhaun goes outside to investigate, she doesn't see anyone suspicious. A short while later, Richard returns home at 8 p.m., just before Janiyah eats a dinner between 8:30 and 9 p.m. consisting of tater tots and a sandwich. Shevhaun claims that Janiyah ate a normal portion of the meal before taking a bath and going to bed at around 9 p.m. in her normal spot on the couch in the front room. She follows up that she and Richard then went to bed at around 11 p.m. While in the bath Tuesday night following the altercation, Shevhaun claims Janiyah was trying to sniff, drink, or breathe the water in the tub. She states that she had to correct Janiyah about it, but offers no further explanation during this interview. She goes on to claim that everything was fine when she put Janiyah to bed. She then says she checked on the child at around 4 a.m. and the child was fine and up. This was just before Richard left to go donate plasma in town. For those of you who don't know, plasma is the liquid part of your blood. You can donate it regularly for cash. Richard then leaves the apartment at around 5 a.m. and can be spotted on a bus heading into town. Soon after, Shevhaun gets up to check on Janiyah again, and this time she does so by pulling back the little girl's covers. She claims Janiyah was staring back, open-eyed and blank. There was no interaction exchanged between the two. Shevhaun lays back down for 30 minutes before realizing something is off as Janiyah, uncharacteristically, was not yet awakened up. After checking on the little girl for a third time and realizing that Janiyah was indeed unresponsive, she decides to call Richard at the Telecris Plasma Donation Center because he left his phone at home. After 6 minutes of talking with Richard on the Telecris phone line, the call ends and Shevhaun contacts emergency services just before 8 a.m. Now that we've got the timeline down, I'd like to remind you not to get comfortable. Shevhaun provided 3 interviews to police, and her story does a fair bit of changing. Her third interview is a full-on video interrogation. If you really want to help piece together what happened to Janiyah Russell, stick around. The family could use your help. It's also worth noting that while the couple don't have any other kids themselves, they regularly babysit for other parents. Specifically, during this time, 2 little girls aged 5 and 1 that belonged to an ex-coworker of Richard's named Liz. The last day they babysat these children was Monday, September 9th from 2 to 11 p.m. Their mother Liz had worked with Richard in Walmart before being let go. He, Shevhaun, and Janiyah were all about to move in with Liz, with the plan being to babysit her kids full-time as a means to pay rent. Of course, this would never happen because the day Richard planned to move was the day Janiyah died. And these aren't the only kids that Richard and Shevhaun looked after. And we'll get to that in a minute, as that information comes with a bombshell.
So you check on at 7:30, 7:45. How did she look then?
And I said that at that point, I figured something was wrong.
That's
She
crazy,
was looking
bro.
the same, not moving, and
That's
then I realized
just
her hands
crazy.
were really cold. So I turned on the heater, thinking that.
Another
maybe
thing
she's
that I'm
just
kind
really
of
cold.
worried about
What, did you
is
check her
if
breathing?
you're if
Yeah.
Was she
even
breathing?
if that's your
I don't
girlfriend,
think
you
so.
like
I
love your
couldn't really tell for
girlfriend,
sure.
however,
You say you called Richard first?
you know, whatever you want to say about that. But as the father, bro, he should have been, you know, checking up on his kids as well. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you, I don't think you are awarded that type of, how can I say that, trust for anybody. You know, if it's my kid, bro, I don't care how long I've been dating. I mean, especially, you know, if we've been dating for just a short amount of time, I don't think that I would just give you that benefit of doubt to be, you know, coming home at 8 o'clock at night and then going to sleep. I mean, waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm not checking on my children before I come and go. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of weird how, you know, she was the only one that was able to see, you know, the irresponsiveness of the girl, you know, and the guy don't see it. And it's surprising how she was even able to get contact with him, which means it sounds to me like she's, you know, telling a little bit of truth and lies at the same time to make her lies sound truthful. You know, that's kind of how I feel, because, you know, if she was able to contact him at the plasma, you know, center, then of course you can say that, you know, that part was actually true. He did leave his phone at home, and she was able to contact him at the plasma center. You know what I'm saying? So, and on top of that, they was able to catch everything. They was able to corroborate everything too, as in the time when um the girl ended up I mean, the whole time when she was babysitting, and he was out with I guess his guy friend, and and then I got my own little speculations about that too, as well, because the way they was arguing, and, you know, the dude and the other guy, doesn't look like, you know, they was just friends to me. You know, I'm not trying to be biased or anything like that. I just, you know, there's just certain ways how people move around and stuff like that. And from what I can see, I'm not trying. Hey, bro, I'm not like, hey, bro, you know, I'm just saying, you know, from the way him and the other dude was, you know, talking. I mean, you know, interacting. It looked a little sus to me, bro. You know, and bro, to each your own. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying, you know, what you doing is negative or anything like that. I'm just saying it doesn't look like they was just friends. You know what I'm saying? So, but she knew. She knew that he was out with a guy friend, and that story was true. You know, and another thing was they was able to corroborate that he did get on the bus to go to the plasma center, you know, at 5 o'clock at night. So at least he's not necessarily a target yet, you know, from what I can tell. Which means that now the investigation is kind of like clearly on her now. You know, she's the prime suspect right now. You know what I'm saying? Because you are the only person that's been with her this whole entire time. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that he couldn't wake up in the middle of the night, done something to his daughter, and then left. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's when more discovery got to come. You know what I'm saying? You know, especially that DNA, you know, that they found. And they did say they found, you know, multiple DNAs. And, you know, that's, you know, I'm thinking of the friend, like, was him and the other guy in on it? You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to, and I know a lot of people might be like, damn, bro, why you talking like that? That's kind of like, you know, respect her a little bit. And I'm trying to, bro, like, dead ass. I'm trying to, like, I'm not trying to sound like an asshole, bro. You know, this is a 5-year-old daughter, a 5-year-old child dying. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to make it seem like I'm just being trivial with this, bro. But it's just, you know, when it comes to investigation, sometimes you gotta think like that, bro. You know.
What did you tell him?
I just told him he needs to hurry up and get over, because I don't know what's going on, and she's not breathing. And he's like, well, you need to hurry up and go to the hospital. Like, you know, okay. I just wanted to.
Okay, so then I'm guessing paramedics arrive, and they grab Janiyah up and take off. So part of what we do is we examine Janiyah's body. She's got a lot of injuries. She has a lot of injuries. And early, when I first, when we first started our conversation, I asked you to make sure that you're honest with me and you tell me the truth with what happened. And that's important. I've been doing this for quite a while, and I can tell you that the extent of injuries that she has on her body is not from a scuffle.
I don't know about the extent of injuries on her body.
Well, I can tell you that I've seen her body, and I'm telling you, this didn't come from a scuffle out in front of your apartment. Her injuries are extensive.
Yeah, the only thing that I knew of that was new to me was the spot on her stomach. I don't know where the that came from at all. I mean, anything else I told you about, that's what I saw, and I did mention it.
So this all happened yesterday. You got to tell me how she got hurt like that.
I'm telling you how she got hurt like that.
She didn't get hurt like that.
Well, I
need you to tell me the truth.
I'm telling you.
That child's injuries did not come from a scuffle out in front of your apartment complex.
Tell me what the injury
I'm telling you.
I'm not trying to be funny at all.
I know you're not.
I'm really trying to figure out, because the only thing I knew about was her face. And then, like I said,
she has bruises all over her abdomen, all over her arms, all over her legs, all over her face, all over her head, all over her neck. She looks like she's been in a fight with an MMA fighter. She didn't get this from a scuffle out in front of your apartment. I'm telling you 100%, no doubt in my mind. I don't doubt that she was beat, but this didn't happen out in front of the apartment complex from some kids.
Wow.
And when she was in the bath,
the most she did was like.
Describe that for me. I was just kind of wondering what that was. What do you mean she was sniffing the water? What is it?
Like I said, because like I said, after that or whatever, she was laying down in the tub and she was like kind of on her side. So like, I thought she was like just laying in the water and then like maybe blowing the water out her mouth, like out of her mouth area so she can breathe or whatever. But I realized that she was kind of like, it kind of seemed like she was like trying to drink the water or something. Like I don't really know how to explain what she was doing, because once I seen her doing it, I was just like, okay, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's dangerous.
What'd she say?
She don't talk back. She's just gonna get up and not.
She'll go back.
Yeah, she's just gonna stop doing it.
Did you have to get her out of the water or anything like that?
No, but the water was kind of like high to her body. Like that's why I'm saying, like, if she's laying flat, you see how little she is, and it was like halfway covering up her. So that's why I was like, okay, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like,
when you got out of the water, how long was she in the bathtub?
I don't know, because like I said, she ended up staying in there a little while longer because I let her wash herself off, and then she likes to be in the tub, so she soaked herself up and stuff like that.
Did you wash her like vaginal area and anything like that? Was she especially dirty or anything like that?
What?
Her private parts, her vaginal area.
Did you say was she especially dirty?
Yeah, was she dirty? Because you said she got in a scuffle.
She had on clothes.
But did you have to wash her any like harder than normal? I'm just like other than normal stuff.
No, not at all.
Okay. You said you had to correct her.
Yeah.
And what does that mean?
Told her to not do.
That's it?
Yeah.
Told her not to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm really still stuck on the fact of what you said. I really am.
When she came in, because you said that Richard wasn't there, and she told you that she'd gotten into a scuffle out in front of the building. Did you call him or send him a text? Hey, she got into a fight?
I would say he don't really have a phone. The phone he do have is on Wi-Fi, so typically he's not really going to take that phone because I'm the one that has Janiyah.
Mm-hmm.
So in case of an emergency, I need to call somebody, which we don't really have emergencies, and we don't ever really need to call nobody, ever.
Okay. As far as discipline, because she is 5, and all of us here have children. We know how 5-year-olds are.
She gets whoopings.
Did she get a whooping? Okay. Explain to me how she gets a whooping.
It just depends on what she did. She was a very different type of kid, so like I said, it just depended on what her actions were. Like sometimes she'll have to end up going her, workout, that type of stuff.
What do you mean workout?
Wall sits, because I don't really like whoopings.
Okay.
So I make her work out, or she stand in the corner.
Give me an idea of an exercise program you put her on for discipline.
Like say if she's been lying, she can do wall sits, and then she can do some push-ups.
Okay, so she'll put her back up against the wall with her legs bent, and then she holds her hands up?
Yes.
And how long will you make her do that for?
I would say it's just okay. So I'd say for lying and stuff like that, or trying to be in grown folks' business. It just depends. Like, she'll do sets, like, you know what I'm saying? So, say she'll do count to 10, stand up, and then go down, count to 10, stand up. It's like that. It's not like no extreme workout challenge. It's really simple stuff.
How many push-ups?
10. Everything is count to 10.
Okay. When she gets a whooping, do you use your hand or you use an object, a belt?
I don't really give out the whippings. I leave that to her dad. But if he's not really like there and it's just like, okay, she's being too bad and my form of punishment is not working, then it might be a belt. But yeah, that's about it.
Was she disciplined yesterday?
No, for what?
I'm asking. I know. Was she disciplined
No.
for anything?
No.
What about the day before?
No, we were released the day before. So if she was looking like that, somebody would have seen her like that.
No, I'm saying just as far as discipline. I'm not saying that she looked like that 2 days ago. I'm asking if she was disciplined 2 days ago for anything, for being bad.
No.
We
Say for example, if anything like yesterday, she don't really like to learn. So when she was pretending not to know a word that she was sounding out, she's really smart. It can take her a minute to do it, but sometimes it can take her longer because she doesn't want to learn. So for that, she had to stand in the corner. But that's the most she had to do yesterday, was stand in the corner.
So she stood in the corner yesterday?
Yeah.
Do you remember what time that was? When were you doing studies?
Around 12.
Why did she get put in the corner yesterday again?
Because basically she didn't want to. She knew what a word was, and she was pretending like she didn't know what it was.
A what word?
A word that we were working on. She was pretending like she didn't know what it was. So she ended up getting in trouble.
What was the word?
Fat.
Fat?
It's an easy one.
Yeah. Is she receptive to discipline? You know, does she...
She can be, but, you know, we just work with it.
Okay. Does it frustrate you?
She's fine.
It's typical 5-year-old behavior, yeah? Okay. All right. So she gets... So occasionally she'll get a whooping with a hand or a belt. She also does, what do you call them? Wall sits? Wall sits and push-ups? Sit-ups, anything like that?
No, squats.
Squats? Okay. Is that against the wall or freestanding?
You know squats. You don't know.
I know what a squat is, yeah.
Yeah, it's freestanding.
Okay. All right.
Can I ask you really quick too? I know we had touched on it, but you had said she had complaints last night. What were her complaints? Was she complaining with headache? Was she complaining like she wanted to throw up?
Yeah, no, she didn't ever say she wanted to throw up, but you know, you asked like, oh, does her hair or stuff like that, right? Yeah, she did say, yeah, it hurts a little. And she didn't really, like I said, she's kind of tough, so she doesn't really complain too much. So if something was really bothering her like that, I don't think I would have known because, like I said, she's tough, so she would have probably just tried to sleep it off.
I was just asking because I thought you had said she did have complaints last night. Did I hear that wrong?
No, you had heard it right. Yeah, she did.
So then I just want to be clear that her complaints were that you asked her for head hurt and she said yes.
No, her everything, like, you know, just because of the fact that what happened, and that's part of the reason why she ended up getting the bags because,
Did you tell Richard about the scuffle up front? What did he say?
He was concerned. He asked what I did, and then, you know, it was just like, he's the type of parent. He's a guy, so he just feels like it'll make her tougher. He was concerned, but, you know, he don't really show his emotions like I do.
Did you call the police?
No.
Did you call security?
No.
Did you go knock on any doors?
No, because she was just supposed to be playing outside.
So your little girl comes in, black eye, bloody lip.
I went to go see what was going on, but like I said, by the time I had got out there, it seemed like everything just, even the pool is open.
I mean, you didn't knock on no doors? You didn't say, hey, did anybody see anything? You didn't see my kid get beat up? You didn't ask nobody?
I didn't think about it. And yeah, she was spitting out blood when she came back too, like her mouth. That's what I was saying, like her mouth was like, it wasn't like really like leaking, but I seen it was like red.
Did she wipe it up with anything?
I cleaned it.
With what?
Tissue.
Tissue?
Just tossed it in the trash. I mean, in the toilet.
Flushed it down the toilet?
Yeah.
Okay. And let me ask you this: is there any domestic violence issues in the home?
No.
Did you ever get in a scuffle with Richard?
I mean, everybody argued, dude.
Everybody argues. I mean, he ever put his hands on it?
No.
Okay. We have to ask. Drugs or alcohol use in the house?
I mean, we smoke.
Smoke what?
weed.
It's legal now. I mean, we don't care. Is there anything else?
No.
I mean, and we're not here for that. We're not drug people. We're not, is there any meth or any cocaine we're gonna find in the house or nothing crazy like that? Okay. And we just have to ask.
None of that.
Has anybody other than you or Richard watched Janiyah this week?
No.
How would you describe these whippings?
I'm not gonna lie,
that she
this
would
is
get?
getting very
Ever
intense,
pretty
bro.
forceful?
Like,
Did she cry?
I'm not gonna lie
Those
to you, man.
kids cry
Her
after getting
story,
yelled at. I had to take the baby in the corner because she kept fighting her sister.
she's sticking to it,
Okay,
bro.
but can you,
You know,
describe
like,
it on these things? That's like you said it was with
I don't know
belt
what I
and
would
pretty
say
forceful, pretty hard?
as the investigators. I don't know what I would like. Now I gotta go look for
But she do
evidence,
have to
bro.
get a belt
You know what I'm
on,
saying?
but-
Because this lady
Okay,
is
first off,
sticking
when's the last
to
time
her
she got whipped
story,
with a belt?
and there's really
I don't
nothing
know.
we could do
You don't
now.
know?
She's not
No.
telling us the
Do you think it
truth.
was within the last
You know,
24
and we don't know if
No,
this the
that-
truth
she
or
shouldn't
not
have-
or
no,
not.
if I
So
said
it's
she
like
was standing in the corner. That's the most trouble she could have.
I don't know what to say now, man.
At any point was she with her dad by herself? Was Houghton there?
Not for none of this other thing.
And when she moved, or when dad got full custody, was she with mom before that?
Foster care.
Foster.
She was with her mom. Then she went to foster care. She got went back to
Foster care here or where?
in Colorado.
And if I seem like, I know agitated isn't the right word, I see injuries like this on children. And because you don't have a better explanation other than she was outside and got into a scuffle, that's not good enough. That's not.
I understand that.
I'm sorry. It isn't.
Okay.
When a child has that, when her body is bruised from head to toe like that,
I promise you, I'm really trying to figure out.
you're telling me that you didn't seem like it was that big of a deal. And when Richard sees and stuff like that, what makes her tougher? Both of her eyes are black. She has two black eyes. She has bruising all over her stomach, her arms, her legs. She looks like she fell out of an airplane. And you're telling me, oh, it was a scuffle outside. And then you didn't call the police. You didn't tell security. You didn't do anything. I'm assuming you've been with this girl for 5 years or for a year. I'm assuming you love this little girl. You take care of her.
She called you mommy, right?
She calls you mommy? And she comes in beat up and
I'm understanding.
no big deal.
No, it's not no big deal. When she told me I'm ready to go fight, I'm not ready to call the police. I'm not ready to call security. I'm ready to go whip somebody ass because you defend my child.
Then why?
That's the type of person I am. I told you when I went out there, it's like everybody had disappeared. Nobody was outside playing no more. The whole situation just completely died down. What am I supposed to really go do?
You didn't knock on no neighbor's door and say, hey, did you see anybody put their hands on my kid?
Like I said, I really didn't think about it. I was just ready to whip some ass right then and there. And when I'm in that mode, that's all I'm thinking about. And especially when it comes to her.
You got a little bit of a temper.
No.
No?
When it comes to the right reasons.
Okay.
And somebody putting their hands on her is the right reason.
So if my kid...
And I didn't know she was... Her arms...
Yeah.
Her legs...
Yeah.
Her head...
Yes.
No,
this investigator is real smart. You see what he did, right? You see what he did, right? He kind of try to like pivot to blaming her a little bit, like to kind of get her to tell on herself a little bit because she was like, the only thing I was worrying about was whooping some ass, and then he was like, oh, so you're a little, you got a temper, and then she was like, no, because she knew. She's smart, bro. She's smarter than what they thought she was. You know what I'm saying? Because if she was, because she tried to use that. You know what I'm saying? He tried to use that. And honestly, I don't like that a little bit. As an investigator, I don't really like that. Like, I don't think that's a good strategy to just go straight into being biased like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. You got to find out who did it, right? But I don't think just trying to pin it on people, because don't get me wrong. I mean, there is times when that works, right? There is times when I force it down your throat so much to the point where you're like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm admit it. I did it. You know what I'm saying? But there is some times when it's like, now you're just trying a little bit too hard, bro. You get what I'm saying? And I felt like, yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. I know clearly most likely she did it. You know what I'm saying? But he tried it. Like he was like, man, yeah, you did it. You did it. You know what I'm saying? So he tried to pull that card on her. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you got a temper, ain't it? You know what I'm saying? And she quickly caught it. She quickly caught it and was like, No, you know what I'm saying? Only for the right reasons. She said it's smart. Like, you get what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to be on her side or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, she's smarter than what she sounds, bro. You know what I'm saying? Than how she sounds.
Like I said, the most I knew about was her face. But the fact that you're saying is all that, I'm really confused. I'm genuinely confused right now.
Me too.
I didn't know it was that serious.
That's why I want a better explanation.
Can you give me one?
I wasn't there. You were there.
I wasn't outside with her.
You're saying that all those injuries happened to her from a scuffle outside your apartment. That's what you're.
That's the only way I know of it's coming from. I'm being so thorough right now.
Okay. All right, that's what we're gonna go with. Any follow-up?
Nope, that's it.
Operator, this is Detective Conover. That concludes the interview. The time is 11:52.
Roughly an hour and a half after Shevhaun's first interview, while still at Sunrise Hospital, she requests to speak to authorities for a second time. This is where her testimony starts to change drastically. For the record, there's no doubt that Shevhaun Miller is lying about what happened to Janiyah. This is irrefutable. The question, though, is for what purpose is she being deceptive? You'll want to watch this whole documentary before you make up your mind. It's crucial that you're aware of all of the available details first.
It is September 11th, 2019. The time is 13:26 hours. We are at Sunrise Hospital. And also, again, we'll be speaking with Shevhaun Miller. And Shevhaun, you said that you had some more information that you wanted to share with us?
Yeah, I forgot to tell you that when I called 911 initially and they told me how to do the CPR, water was coming out of her mouth and nose. So I don't know if that had anything to do with anything, but her mouth and nose had water coming out of it as I was doing the CPR.
Water?
Yes.
Okay. And you were getting instructions on the phone about how to do CPR?
As I was on the phone doing the CPR. This is why I completely forgot about that. It was, as I'm pumping, it's water coming out of her mouth, just flowing out of her mouth and her nose on the floor, right in front of the couch.
Did anything else come up with the water?
It was like mucus. As a matter of fact, I think she had some spit like hanging out her. I don't know how I'm forgetting everything that I needed to tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, she had like one out. That's what made me even acknowledge it too. She had like spit hanging out her mouth and stuff when I went to go check on her again. And then, like I said, once I called and did the CPR, it was water coming out of her mouth and nose. It was water coming out, and the only thing I could think of, she just kept saying, just checking to see if she's breathing. And that's the only thing I was worried about. I didn't even say, oh, it's water coming out while I was on the phone. I was just trying to check and see if she was breathing. I don't know if that has something to do with the fact that she was drinking the water in the tub or whatever it was that she was doing in the tub. So it's like, I really don't know.
When did she get it back?
Like, last night.
What's happened?
Probably right before dinner, so like 7.
Was Richard there?
I'm not sure. I don't know, because I feel like when around the time when it was time for her to go to bed and stuff, I feel like he came like right after she went to bed. I'm not really like I said, I completely forgot to tell y'all that the water was coming out of her nose and mouth, which is a very important detail. So it's just like I can't even remember if he was there or not. Like, I'm kind of traumatized, if you would choose to say. Like,
did she dress herself after a bath, or did you dress her?
I typically dress her.
And I know I asked you this before. When you got her dressed after the bath, you didn't notice any of these other bruises that we've been talking about. Because remember, I said her body's covered.
No, that's what I'm saying. I would have noticed it getting her up the tub. I really did not notice all that stuff. I genuinely, I'm telling you, like, even with her head, like, the fact that you're saying her head is, whatever you're saying is going on with her head, I'm really, like, surprised. The only thing that I know of that she could have possibly done, but my nieces haven't even been around, they headbutt each other a lot. But my niece haven't even been around her, right. So it's just like, I'm not understanding at all where she would be getting these head injuries from.
Okay. Obviously, we're going to find out what more injuries we're going to have tomorrow after the exam.
More?
What other injury? We don't know. I don't know what's inside. I don't know what's going on. So that's up to a doctor to tell us what.
She have internal injuries?
I don't know. I have no idea. So we're going to have the doctor examine. If there are other injuries, we're going to know. We're going to find out.
Yeah, of course.
Is there anything else we're forgetting to ask you? anything else that would have happened that might have caused these things?
No, but now, like I said, I'm kind of upset that I didn't tell you guys about that water from the beginning, because that's the only thing that I could really think about at this point is that water. Okay. And it was coming out of her when I was doing CPR.
And when he leaves,
like I said, when he left, I went right back to sleep.
Okay.
So
did you see her at that time?
No, I didn't get up until a few hours later.
No, you were awake, but you didn't get up out of bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was up, but I didn't get up.
Did you see you say?
Yeah, because I was, matter of fact, I'm lying. I did get up. I had to lock the door.
Oh, you locked the door behind you?
Yes, I did. I forgot because I just heard it was a serial killer on the loose. How ironic is that? So I ended up, I'm like, babe, I'm just going to lock this door because it's crazy out here. But I didn't really acknowledge her. I just went back to the room.
Now, what if, like, let's do like a side note. Now, what if this lady has nothing to do with the killing, and the father killed his daughter literally or drowned her, and kind of like in the middle of the night, before he went to work, whatever, killed his daughter and just left the daughter with the girlfriend to kind of make it seem like the girlfriend has something to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and why is they not questioning him? You know what I'm saying? Like, this got to be something that happened. Like, this is the second time, right? This is in interviews 2, investigation 2. So she went home. You know what I'm saying? She went home and she came back with these details, right? So, like, what's going on with the boyfriend, like with the actual baby father of the child? Are they gonna investigate him? You know what I'm saying? I mean, we haven't even got halfway yet, so let's get back to this, man.
That's why I'm not remembering that. I did get up at that point in time, but I didn't check on her until I woke up later on.
Okay.
And then, I realized she was different than normal, and then I just still brushed it off because, like I said, the way she was looking, I really thought she was possibly just laying there. And then I realized, like I said, she's not getting up. Okay, let me go check on her again, make sure everything all right. And then I realized, okay, something's wrong. Like I said, that's when she had to spit on her pillow. And then that's what I'm saying, I don't know why I'm missing the stuff that matters. And then that's when I realized, okay, she's a little cold, let me turn the heater on. Then I called her dad, like, okay, something's not right. And then I called 911, which I probably should have called 911 first and then her dad. But I just wanted him to know, okay, you're going to have to go to the hospital, because once I get on the phone with the ambulance, I'm not going to be able to call you. And that's pretty much how it was.
A few days ago, Richard told us about an incident that happened a few days ago.
What happened a few days ago?
With, you have a girlfriend named Deshanae?
Uh-huh.
And was she over there visiting you guys at your place with her kids?
Yeah.
Do you remember something happening that day?
That might have been the day me and her left. So I'm not, like, I don't know, we be kind of busy sometimes too. So it's just like, my sister haven't really been over there. I mean, like, it probably was the other day, but I don't really remember exactly what day it was, because it was like right before we got the little girls. So it was the other day, but I don't remember,
So they did, eventually investigate the father of the child, right? Because he gave them some more information about a few days before the death. So let's see what she got to say about this. Like, I don't know what new information they actually have, but it seems like it kind of shook her up a little bit, because she kind of like, you can hear in her voice, you know what I'm saying? And that's how good these are, because you wouldn't think how easy it is to catch a human in a lie. But just by listening to these different situations, these different cases, I myself are even is even catching on to how these investigators can catch someone in a lie, because I literally felt her demeanor. My bad. I literally felt her demeanor completely change after they asked her about her friend. You know what I'm saying?
Is Deshanae your sister? Or
No.
she's a friend?
She's my friend, but
What's her last name?
Johnson. What did he say happened with her?
Well, I don't want to tell you what he said. I want to see if you were. So I want to see if you were there. If you remember an incident that happened.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I was there because I know it's always something like that's.
Did
what I
he
was
tell you
yeah.
about an incident?
I'm not sure. Like that's what I can't guarantee because I know for a fact she ended up headbutting with my niece. I don't know for sure exactly, what it could possibly be that he's talking about.
Did he tell you that something happened?
It's always something happening.
It's
really
something
say.
that you would go, oh, okay. When I say something happened, I mean it's something that's serious that you would go, oh, okay, that's what happened.
Or she would have gotten a whooping.
Oh, where she got a whooping?
Mm-hmm.
Was it she was kissing the girls on the mouth or something?
Nope.
Oh, then I don't know. I don't know for sure.
So were you there when that happened? Did you see that?
When she was kissing the girls on the mouth?
Mm-hmm.
Did I see that happen? I was there that day. I don't think he was there. That's what I'm saying. I don't know because it's always something going on. We always have kids at the house. Like, this is not nothing new for us to have kids around, My nieces are always over. We are babysitting. We were supposed to babysit today. So it's like, it's not really anything new that we're always having kids around, especially little girls. So it's like,
Did he tell you that he had to spank her with a belt?
He don't run his stuff by me. Not really. He don't run his
So
whooping.
you don't have, that's just not something that come in conversation? Hey, by the way, I had to spank her today for blah, blah, blah.
If I had to whoop her, I'm going to run that by him.
Mm-hmm.
But if he had to whoop his daughter, he doesn't have to run that by me. I just told you what she got into, with the most recent thing that she did. So it's just like, I don't know what that could have possibly been. And it's been a few days since my nieces have been over or my sister's been over. So I don't really recall too much.
Okay. This case is going to be solved medically. Not me. I'm not a doctor. I don't do that. But when I'm at the autopsy tomorrow, I'm going to know everything that's wrong with Janiyah.
No, yeah.
I'll know everything.
That. And that's what I'm saying. The only thing I can think of at this point that could have possibly happened was that water. And like I said, when I was pumping her,
the only
that
two
stuff was
people
coming out
that have had contact with that baby
is me and her.
Is you and him.
Right.
So somebody ain't telling me the story.
No.
Somebody's not telling me the truth. Babies don't get full of water all on themselves.
I told you what she was doing.
So, not from that. Well, that was at 7, 8 o'clock. This is 10 hours later. She's not still full of water. It's not. It didn't happen.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think she was drinking it. I feel like she was breathing it in.
I know, but then she would have expired while she was taking a bath. She can't be full of water 10 hours later while you're giving her CPR. That's impossible.
I don't know.
I'm gonna know more tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I want you to be prepared for me tomorrow.
Okay. I didn't do anything to her. I'm telling you, I put her in the tub and she was laying there. She was laying in the tub. It wasn't like for when I give her baths too much for me to possibly have done something like putting her under the water or something like that.
Did she accidentally drown in the water last night? And
I'm not sure because at a certain point in time, I did walk off.
Well, what I'm saying, last night before bed, and she's in the bathtub. Did she drown while she was in the bathtub? And you're scared to tell us that she drowned, and that's how this other story came up with checking on her throughout the night, and then you finally call for paramedics in the morning. Obviously you know that you have to call somebody and report that your child has passed away. So with the water coming up out of her,
honestly
it makes me believe that maybe she had drowned.
I would not have waited that long to say something because I would have felt like there was possibly a chance that somebody could have saved her. Now, if anything, maybe my time frames are wrong, but other than that, I'm literally telling you that's what that was. Like I said, maybe my time is off, and maybe the night was a little later, but other than that, no, I'm literally telling you that's what happened. I didn't.
So when she was done with her bath, she was fine. She got dressed. You put her to bed, gave her a kiss on the cheek goodnight, and you and Richard went to bed. But she got out of the bathtub. You dressed her.
Mm-hmm.
She went and laid down on the couch, went to bed.
Yes.
Okay. She didn't drown in the bathtub. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. Or not that I know of.
Not that you know of. Well, I mean, you would know. You were there. You know the difference between drowning in a bathtub and not drowning in a bathtub, right?
I mean, I guess so, but I don't think...
If a child drowns in the bathtub, they're dead. They're dead in the bathtub.
Well, I think I would have had more knowledge of why the water was coming out of her like that.
Did you find her dead in the bathtub?
I don't...
Earlier?
No.
You can tell me. That would explain a lot. That makes more sense now. If you're telling me that she had water coming out of her while you were giving her CPR, that makes sense. This is the time to tell me the truth.
There was water coming out of her. I wouldn't wait hours to call for help. That's not making no go.
Tell me what happened to me. Tell me what happened to this little girl.
I am.
I'm not laughing about the
You're strong
5-year-old girl dying. I'm laughing about how
You are.
the investigator is talking
I
right
believe
now.
in you.
He is.
But you gotta
He
tell me the
is,
truth.
bro. He's good. He's good. He's good. Very good.
You gotta tell me what happened to her.
Now he's trying to
She
be her
deserves it.
friend, trying to be the
I
good
told
cop.
you she was
you know?
laying there.
Trying to
She
be
was
like, it's
laying
okay.
in the
It's
tub,
okay.
first of all.
You know,
Why?
I'm trying to be your friend. I'm just trying to figure out
Just
what's going
saying,
on.
would that
you
even
know?
be believable if I pumped the water out of her already? You can't see water in her lungs if it's already pumped out of her.
During the autopsy, if she drowned, there will be medical signs that will tell us that she drowned.
Yeah.
We'll be able to know that tomorrow.
Exactly.
There's water coming out of her.
I believe you.
Can we discuss this tomorrow? Please.
You should tell us now. It's best if you tell me now what happened.
She like, man, I need the autopsy, bro.
I'm not
That's
trying
what I
to go to
need.
jail for something I didn't do. That nobody did.
Tell us what happened. Tell us when you found her.
What?
When did she drown?
I don't know for sure if she drowned or not. I thought she was just laying there. I don't want to go to jail for something I didn't do.
There was 2 people in that apartment.
Her dad was not there. He didn't do that. Nobody purposely harmed her like that.
Then tell me how it was an accident.
Okay, I really can't.
That little girl deserves the truth.
I do completely understand that, and I'm giving you the truth. I really am. But I just don't.
You were a mother to her. She thought of you as her mama. She called you mama.
I know all that.
You
That's
see,
not really going to help. I want to know that I'm not going to go to jail for something that wasn't done purposefully or something that I didn't do. Something that he didn't do. Neither one of us sat there and hurt her like that on purpose or ever tried to.
But Shevhaun, you won't tell me what happened.
I just want to know I'm not going to go to jail for something that...
Explain what happened to me. Tell me how it was an accident. You're strong enough. You can do this.
He's
You
trying
love
to
that
reel
little
her
girl. I
in,
know
bro.
you
He's
do.
trying to reel her
Tell me
in,
the
bro.
story so it makes sense. Please.
I don't know what happened. Like I said, she got into the scuffle. And I ended up putting her in the tub. I don't know exactly what time. The water was just running.
See how much?
And I wasn't paying attention.
And what time was this?
I don't know what time it was.
Was it? You think it was nighttime?
It was nighttime.
Was Richard there?
No.
How long was she in the bathtub for?
She wasn't in there that long.
Did you start the water for her, or did she start her own water?
I turned the water on.
Okay.
I filled it up and then I walked off.
Did you turn the water
I
off?
didn't turn it off yet.
Did she turn it off?
No.
When you went back into the bathroom, was the water running?
I ended up turning it off.
Okay.
Then I walked off and I came back and like I said, she was laying in the tub. I got her out and I tried my best.
When she was in the tub, was she face down or was she face up?
I don't know. Because like I said, she was laying in the tub at first. And she was laying there like, on her back and stuff, just waiting on the water to fill up. I don't know what happened after that. I just grabbed her out the tub, and that's where I think that mark came from on her stomach from me trying to get her out the tub, and she was like laying over the tub. Because like I said, that mark and stuff on her stomach was not there. I don't know where that came from. I don't know even know if that sounds realistic or not, but that wasn't on her. Nobody, like, even when you're saying like the bruises, nobody don't beat on her like that.
Okay. So
You can ask my sister. She was living with us for a couple months. I don't even whoop Janiyah.
So when you pulled her out of the tub, was she breathing?
I thought she was. I thought she was. I really did. That's why I just laid her down to go to bed. She, she was able to get dressed and stuff like I don't know. I don't know if I'm like.
She got up and she got dressed?
No, I'm saying like I got her dressed, but
You dressed her.
yeah, I always dress her. It's just I don't know. I just thought, she was gonna be okay. I thought she was gonna be fine. I didn't know that something was wrong. I would have called sooner. I would not have let her sit there like that. I feel horrible. I have to go talk to her dad, and I still haven't seen him. He left the house with her, understandably alive, as he thought, as we all thought, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like she was fine. I don't know.
This is just
I don't
crazy,
know.
man.
Is it possible that when you pulled her out of the tub, that she had already passed away? Was she dead when you pulled her out of that water?
I don't know.
Did she?
I just wanted her to be okay.
Did you put a blanket over her?
Wow.
I dried it off. And I put her clothes on her and I laid her
So
down.
most
because I
likely
thought
she
was
probably
just tired.
died. She probably died way before they.
Did something happen before the bath where you might have been upset with her? Anything like that?
No. No. No.
Did
There
you
it
tell
goes.
Richard about
He
what
go-
happened
he gonna
in the
get her,
bathroom?
bro. Honestly,
I didn't talk to him until
he's gonna
I
get her,
thought she
bro.
was fine. I thought she was fine.
How long was she in the bathtub alone?
I always leave her in the tub alone.
How long do you think?
Oh man.
Like 30 minutes. Not even that long. I can't even. I can't calculate time. I can't. I cannot. Time is just not my friend.
So she
I'm
was
not
on
gonna
her
lie, I can't
stomach, but
calculate
her head
time
was to
either.
the side.
Yeah.
Was she floating on top of the water? Or was she under the
She
water?
was on the water, and then I don't know. I just
Would you be able to show us
show you what.
how she was in the water?
I don't want to.
Did you try to do CPR when you got her out of the tub? You did. Okay. Did water come out when you did CPR?
Well, there it goes. There it goes. She,
I meant after you pulled it. So was the bath this morning, not last night? Because you said she took a bath last night and she was floating in the water last night. So when you pulled her out of the tub last night before you dressed her and put her on the couch, did you do CPR then? Did you try and revive her?
No.
No.
I didn't.
You just got her dressed and put her on the couch?
I could have saved her. I really thought she was fine. She's kind of dramatic sometimes. So I thought she was just playing along or something. I didn't know. That's why I tell her all the time, stop being so dramatic, because when somebody really needs to know what's going on, they're not going to know.
There was no way for her to tell you what was going on because she had already passed away. She couldn't tell you.
wow, what a
Maybe not.
boy.
Maybe she didn't. Like I said, my time is off.
He not
My
playing,
time is
man.
off
He's
for
trying to
when
get
the
her
time it
to.
was.
He's trying to get.
I don't
He's
know
trying
what
to get her
time it
to
was.
squeal, bro.
All I was just dark outside.
Weren't you concerned that when you had to pull her from the tub? I mean, she must have been just limp. She must have been just lifeless.
Like I said, my time is on. I wouldn't leave for that long.
How come you didn't call for help?
I did.
Last night, after the tub, you didn't.
She got.
I know you did this
morning.
morning. How come you waited so long?
She got a bath this morning.
She got a bath this morning. After he had already left? Okay.
So what can I tell him?
Okay. That makes sense. That's better.
No.
What happened during the bath?
There we
I
go.
don't know. She, like I said, she was just laying down, chilling, and then all of a sudden I come back and it's just like everything is just wrong.
There
So
you
when I
go.
got her out, I laid her down for a second because I don't know. I just thought she was kidding. I really thought she was kidding with me. I really did, because she's just that type of kid. Like, she play and she do goofy stuff like that. So I really thought she was kidding with me for a second. And that's where I messed up at, thinking that it was a joke, thinking that she was just playing. I didn't want that to happen. I didn't mean for that to happen. And I don't want to go to jail.
So now that the day's a little more clear, the timeline is better because you know the bath was this morning, not last night. Because he told us she didn't get a bath last night, so we already knew that. Well, what time did you put her in the tub this morning? Was it after he left?
This was a little bit after he left.
Okay.
Because I ended up getting up to lock the door. She was already up. So I was like, let me go and get ready, because we were supposed to be packing to move today. And I just wanted to get certain things out the way, like that she'll be dressed and ready for today.
There you
and
go.
it just went sour.
When you say it went sour, what do you mean?
She's not here anymore. That's what I mean. She's not here anymore. She's not. That's my fault. So what's going to happen to me now?
I don't know. We got to talk about it more.
But you know what? It's a lot more helpful now that we know the truth.
Because it makes
I mean,
sense.
yeah,
It
it
does.
is.
We were thinking a lot worse stuff. I mean, we weren't thinking you were a monster. We were thinking you had an accident or something happened.
It was an accident.
Absolutely. Sounds like it to me.
Did you put her in the bathtub this morning and run the water for her?
Mm-hmm. But she was already laying down when I was running the water. Like, before you even get the water in there, she was already laying down. Like
Laying on her stomach, on her back?
No, she was laying on her back, just chilling,
Okay.
waiting on the tub to fill up. That's what I said.
But she was awake.
She was wide awake. Then just out of nowhere, she's on her stomach and her head's on her side. And I'm like, what the fuck?
So that's when you took her out of the tub?
Yeah.
And was she breathing?
I didn't know. I thought she was still playing. I thought she was still playing and she was tricking me. I really did.
Okay.
I thought she was tricking me this whole time. I thought she was breathing. I did. I really did.
So did you take her out of the tub? Did you drain the water?
Yes.
And then once you took her out of the tub, what did you do?
I thought she was just playing. I got her dressed and I laid her back down because I thought she was just tired. That might sound crazy, but I haven't ever lived through nothing like that before. And with the type of kid we have, I'm just thinking it's all fun and games. So I'm like, okay, Janiyah, it's not funny no more. You need to go and get up. And she's still not saying nothing to me. So I'm like going in her mouth trying to see if she needs oxygen or something. Like, I was just playing at that point. I wasn't even taking it seriously. So I'm just like, okay, if you don't need me doing this, then let me know. And she's still not saying nothing. So I'm just like, what the heck is going on? And that's when I was like, okay, no. I had to call her dad. Like, Janiyah's not breathing. And then that's when he was like, okay, hurry up and call the hospital.
So when you had taken her out of the tub and you thought she was playing, because she was unresponsive.
Yeah.
She was limp, I'm guessing. And then did you start to give her breaths, you're saying? Yes? Okay, because you're nodding yes. And then you thought she was playing.
Yes, I still thought she was playing.
How much time went by until you called Richard from the time you said, because you said you were breathing in her mouth?
After I thought she was playing, because I couldn't breathe, when I was trying to blow the air in her mouth, I couldn't really blow it in. It was almost like she was closing her mouth. So it was almost like I couldn't even blow the air in her mouth. So I'm just like, okay, you playing. I'm going to just leave you alone. I covered her back up. But when I came back, she had that look on her face. And I'm just like, something's wrong. You're not changing. You're not blinking. You're not responding to me at all. Like, at some point in time, Mommy, I'm just kidding. Something would change. And it's just like, at no point in time, I went in the room and everything. Nothing changed. And at that point, I'm just like, okay, no, something's wrong. And I waited too long.
How much time you think went by?
I don't know.
And that was when you called Richard? And then he told you to call for help?
I didn't even stay on the phone with him for a minute.
Okay. And then you called us?
Yes.
Okay. And then did you do CPR?
That's exactly what happened.
Yes.
She waited too long. And I think she was freaking out, bro. I think, she probably beat that goddamn girl to death.
Did she slip?
And thought that shower was going to be the way.
That's what I was thinking. Like, I've been trying to figure that out this whole time. Because she had possibly slipped and hit her head in the tub. Like, how could I miss that?
She beat that little girl to the brink of death.
Exactly. So that idea
and then put her in the tub.
Operator, this is Detective Conover. Same person as president.
Try to wash that pain off. You know what I'm saying?
Time is 14:07.
As you can see, within the short space of time between Shevhaun's first and second interviews, the timeline she initially gave police has been completely disrupted. And I think the important question there is why. We could spend a lot of time playing spot the difference and create a whole new timeline based on her second interview. But I think the main point of contrast is the fact that Shevhaun now is claiming Janiyah's bath happened on the early morning of September 11th, not the night before, sometime just before 911 was called. And this certainly changes the dynamic. She further claims that Janiyah wasn't responsive and acting normal after the bath, stating that she thought Janiyah was just playing around or being dramatic. Janiyah's body was in fact loose or limp when she was carried out of the tub. She was also laid over the tub, something Shevhaun didn't mention in her first interview. In fact, Shevhaun's first interview paints the picture that Janiyah was responsive, active, and totally coherent, at least in the bath and shortly after getting out of it. But the child's condition must have been bad enough to cause some concern because Shevhaun proceeded to blow breaths into Janiyah's mouth before she called 911. Yet after this and dressing her, Shevhaun left Janiyah on the couch and went back to bed. When she finally checks on the child again, 911 is called. This is where Shevhaun adds that water was coming out of Janiyah's mouth as she performed CPR on the girl, while under the instruction of the emergency dispatcher. Now tell me, at what point in this new timeline would you have called for help? And if someone going through this experience didn't call for help, what might be their reasons? There's so much conflicting information in Shevhaun's first two interviews. There's so much obvious deception. But that big question still lies in that one single word. Why? Why lie? Well, there's still so much more to talk about. A short while after Shevhaun's second interview concludes, police decide to take Shevhaun back to the apartment and have her do a video reenactment of what happened earlier that morning prior to the 911 call. They, much like you and I, are having trouble
They're not
following
playing, bro. They want reenactments. They want everything, man.
Detective Conover, P number 8388.
This is crazy.
This
I mean,
one
not
video
crazy, but this is... they're not playing, man.
The event number, I'm sorry, is
and look, it looked like they already changed her outfit. It looked like she most likely
50332.
already
Today's
detained,
date is
bro.
September 11th,
That looked like a prison scrub
the
she's
time
wearing.
is 17:26 hours.
To me, I'm not sure. Maybe it's something
Hernandez, P
that
number
she
7567
normally wears.
And also we have Shevhaun
But it
Miller,
looked like a prison
and
scrub.
that's SHEVHUAN. Miller is common spelling. and Shevhaun's date of birth is 7/4 of 96. The location where we are is 4855 Boulder Highway, Building N like Nora, apartment 1161, Las Vegas, Nevada 89121. We are here related to a child death. And Shevhaun, if you could, now you know this is all voluntary. You don't have to participate. Do you agree to go ahead and move forward with us to help us understand what happened today? Yes? Can you verbally say, okay, there we go. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to hand you the doll. What I'd like to do is I'd like you to take the doll into the bathroom and show me when you gave Janiyah the bath this morning. Can you show me how she was in the tub when you started?
Wow,
the
they're
tub water?
doing this all. This is all the same day. This is all the same day. I'm thinking that this is like days past already, but this is all the same day.
So she was.
All right.
So she was laying on her back.
Yes.
With her head towards the top of the tub, I'll call it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then did you turn the water on for her?
Yeah, I already had this in the tub.
Okay, so you put the plug in.
Inside. You leave over here. And I took
Okay.
I took over. The water was running. I left in the room, started smoking a cigarette, came back, and she was like, this.
Okay, so she was face down in the tub at this time, with her head turned to her right side.
Yes.
Well, I'm trying to
Okay.
figure out how she got
full
up
was
and
the
turned
bathtub?
around.
Well, you see this?
That ring right there?
Yeah.
So it was a full tub.
Yeah.
Was the water still running?
I think I might have turned it off already. I don't recall that part.
Okay. Do you remember if you turned it off when you came in and saw her like that, or you turned it off prior to it being like
I
that?
don't remember that part exactly. I don't
Okay.
remember if I already had it off, and I don't remember that part exactly how.
Okay. And then when you saw her like that, what did you do?
I immediately brought her up.
Okay.
I sent her right here.
You sent her on. Did you have to hold her?
No. That's why I thought she was just playing. So when I got her out and she was just, kind of looser than normal, I'm just like, still not really thinking nothing of it because, like I said, I didn't have the booger up here. So I'm thinking, she's just kidding or something. Maybe. And
Would you describe her as being limp?
like I said, she was looser than normal, yes. But like I said, since I didn't have to hold her up here, I didn't really think too much of it right then and there. And like I said, I really didn't think much of it at all until I came back to check on her and she was just not responding.
Did you say anything to her when she was in the tub or when you got her out? Did you talk to her?
I think that's what I was telling you. I was like, Janiyah, quit playing. And then
Did she respond?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say yeah, and I'm not gonna say no.
I'm
It's
trying
I couldn't feel like I'm just throwing
this
that
is
I had to.
confusing
Like,
to
I
me
don't-
even though, bro. Like,
Were her eyes open or closed?
is she
Her eyes
bullshit?
open.
Like, is she lying
Now,
or?
when we were-
Because
when we talked to
honestly,
you at the
I'm like,
hospital, you said
I don't
that
know
you
no
gave
more.
her
Like,
some breaths.
this is like a
You
very
actually breathed into
confusing
her
story,
mouth.
bro.
Yeah, and I thought she was just playing. That's when I had actually got her dressed and stuff. He put her on the
Nah, I
couch.
think she lying.
And I thought she was just playing, so I had her on the couch, and I'm like,
Where was that at? Can you show us how that went happened?
Oh, so she already brung her to the couch when
so
she's
she's
doing
already dressed and stuff like that, and she's here on the couch.
Wait, you got the way she was laying that way?
Yeah.
Not this way?
No, she
Okay.
don't know.
Hold on, you got her out and got her dressed.
Yeah.
Can you go through the process? Okay, so you got her out of the tub.
Got her out the tub.
Mhm.
I normally carry her out. Came later right here. Put her clothes on her.
Okay.
So at this point, like I said, I'm still thinking she's just joking around and stuff. So I'm like, okay, you need to stop playing. So I put her up here. Then I walk off. Because like I said, I'm thinking like, maybe I think too much of it. Come back. And I'm like, and I come back and check on her. I don't recall exactly at the point of when, I kind of still jokingly was, over her like, oh, you want me to blow some butts in you? And I'm like doing that. And I felt like she was blocking me from doing it because maybe it was like the position that she was in or something. But I felt like she was blocking me. So I'm like, oh, you don't need no breaths. Like, you're playing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking she's still playing. But when I realized she still had that same look on her face, I'm just like, okay, something's wrong.
How many breaths do you think you gave her?
At that point in time, like I said, I wasn't really being too serious. So it was probably like 2 or 3,
Okay.
Nothing severe as it should have been.
Did she react? Did she say anything to you?
No. She just, it kind of seemed like she was just spitting out something. Like, like she was just.
When did you dress her in?
The clothes that she had on? the leggings with the, I don't remember exactly what was on the shirt, but I remember it was a t-shirt.
A t-shirt, pajama bottoms.
It weren't pajama bottoms, but they were legging pants.
Okay.
Yeah.
And underpants.
Yeah. Sorry. And I keep forgetting because that's automatic.
Okay.
But yeah. At that point, when I had her up here, and I realized she wasn't responding, then I called the ambulance. And they told me to move her to the floor and her. And then that's where they told me to properly position her, and then perform the CPR as I gave her the breaths, and then they kind of would me through the process.
Did any fluid come out of her mouth when you were giving her CPR?
Yes, that's what I was telling you before. But
I don't know, man.
Actually, don't want to miss any detail because I said I was out here kind of playing about the books. And then, like I said,
her reactions to these questions
when
are
I'm
like
on the phone with you guys,
I
like
don't
when I'm trying to
know.
call
I
her
don't
dad,
believe
like,
it,
okay,
dog.
That point,
It's
that's
like
when I
1 second I'm like, is she
CPR
telling
myself,
me the
and
truth?
that's when the fluids was coming out her mouth.
And then the
So
next
you did
second
chest
it's like,
compressions?
nah, I don't believe her.
That was before I was instructed to it.
So not just the breaths you gave her,
Yeah.
you also did chest compressions.
Yes, I did. But like I said, once I realized, it was serious, I actually, cuffed her nose, blew in her mouth. I mean, I probably wasn't doing it right, but liquid was coming out. So at that point, I'm really concerned. And when I walked off and came back, she was like spitting out or something. I'm not really sure what was going on, if it was her or if it was just the reaction, but it was something was like mucus was coming out.
And she was on the couch.
And she was on the couch, yeah. And when I walked off and I came back, her head was actually like this, like to the side. But she was like straight up and down at first. And then when I walked off and came back, she was like to the side, so it was like falling out the side. And I'm like, okay, no. And that's when I called CPR. They told me to get her on the floor and to do it that way.
How was her body to the touch?
Her body was warm. Her hands were cold.
And was
her hands are normally cold.
Was the water warm?
Yes, the tub water was warm. Her hands and feet are normally cold once she get out of stuff. So at first, that's what I'm saying. A lot of signs of it really made me feel like it was just her playing alone, just her normally, because if she get off the tub, she's wet. Her hands and feet are cold. She don't have socks on, and her hands and feet get cold. So like I said, her body was warm to the touch, but her hands were cold. And
was she breathing when she got out of the tub?
That I didn't really check for because I was not really sure at the moment that anything was wrong.
How was her head? Did her head bobble like she was asleep? Or
when I picked her up out the tub, that's what I'm saying. I really didn't pay attention. Like I said, normally I get her out, come in here, get dressed, whatever kids may be, and then I placed her on the floor.
So it seems like she just wasn't really
she didn't dress herself.
Yeah, no, she didn't dress herself. I normally help her to dress her, but that time it was me dressing her.
Because she couldn't dress herself at that time, could
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Okay. Because she's unconscious.
Yeah, this is crazy, man. I don't know what's going on, man.
And then, what else were you at see?
So we have the positioning, we know it closed, we know that you called 911.
You said you walked off. What do you mean you walked off? You said you did some breaths, and you walked off. Did you walk to the bathroom, or you walked to the...
No, I walked in the room.
Okay.
You talking about when I was like, well, I thought she was just coming? No, I had walked in the room real quick because I had a cigarette.
Just over there.
Yeah, just right here. Okay. And I was,
I mean, hey man, guys, if you hear a little bit of background talking or playing around,
she was okay because she just looked.
My kid's being a little bit,
offish. Like she just saying. She seemed like she was playing because she looked like she was just staring at me.
That's why I can't wait to get my little office ready. Because once I get my little office ready,
now we
you
know
guys
that
won't
you
have to worry about
called
that.
for help a little after 8 o'clock in the morning.
No, it was 7.
Okay.
Who'd you call first?
I called her dad, and then I called Jim right after, but it was at 7:45.
Because they record all the calls, and I have a log of the call.
If you have the phone, you can go through the call list, and it'll show the 911 time.
Okay. And then we showed up at the hospital.
But once I realized, okay, this is, I was upset that I even waited that long. And as you can see, that probably simply caused the situation to progress the way it did. Because she could have probably been saved if I would have noticed that from the beginning, something was wrong. But I'm really thinking she was just playing.
Okay.
That's what's crazy right there. I don't know, man.
So I remember I told you that a lot of our investigation is scientific. A lot of the things that we do.
Yeah.
Now, when we saw Janiyah a couple hours later, after y'all had gotten to the hospital, we noticed a lot of bruising on her face, on her abdomen, on her arms, on her legs. She was bruised and cut up
There
but
it
not a lot of
goes,
cuts,
right
but
here.
a lot of bruises.
Mhm.
Did you notice any of that? Now because you had put her in the bathtub.
Yeah.
And you had taken her out of the bathtub, and you had dressed her.
Mhm.
The bruises were very obvious to us. Did you notice that extensive bruising
No,
when she
I
was in the tub?
As you can see, the light in the ear is nowhere near as bright as it is anywhere else. But nonetheless, in light and light, you can see. I told you, like, the face and stuff, yes, I get to see that. But as far, and then, like I said, the one on the, I don't even know where that came from. I literally just saw that. But the arms and stuff like that, and I don't know about anything else other than the face and then that mark right there.
She wasn't bleeding when she came in here. She didn't have any cuts.
So you remember I did tell you that she, her mouth was red, like she was bleeding, and then she was like spitting out blood from the other day when, you know, because I give her a bath all the time.
Was she spitting out the blood from the prior day?
Huh?
Or was that this morning?
No, that was the part.
From yes, okay. So one of the things we do is, like I said, it's scientific, and we test for blood.
Yeah, I know.
And what I can tell you, come on over here. You see the blue here by the tub edge, and you see the blue inside the tub.
Mm-hmm.
That's blood residue. That's blood.
Wow.
Oh, that's.
So what that tells us is that she was in the bathtub, and then on the bed here, and on the tub here, where you said that you leaned her over. There's blood on the floor.
No.
And there's blood in. Well, it's science.
It will be blood right here too if it's your tip. That's what I would say first off. It did not, none of that. And you can come and retest all this if you need to. But it will be dripping off the tub if she would have been hanging over the lid. That did not happen at all.
Well, if she was over far enough, it would have either got on the towel that was lying on the floor.
It was.
Oh, there was blood on the towel?
It was mixed in with water, and I cleaned up the mess from, you know, and it was just sitting there.
So how does the blood get in the tub?
Because the tub probably wasn't properly cleaned out.
From?
The last time she had the bath from when the incident first happened, from when she came in, all.
So you're saying that this blood that is in the tub here was from a day before?
Yes, because I ran this water more than one time. So it's like the fact that that's still in there, that's really surprising. That means I don't do a good job there. I didn't clean it out, to be honest.
Okay.
As you can see, it's a ring around the tub.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's pretty dirty. I'm not
So
saying
you're saying that blood is from the altercation from the day before?
Yes, because I'm telling you, if she was over here dripping blood, first of all, she wouldn't have been sitting here like that, and this would be completely blood.
I don't know, man, because she's kind of like going against them,
mixed with
bro.
water. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
Yeah, that wasn't. That looks like a lot of blood to me as well, and that's a lot of bleeding. All of that, that's a lot.
And have you cut yourself in the tub? Any bleeding from you in the tub?
I bled. I cut my hands.
Okay.
Yeah, I've bled plenty of times. Like. You know.
So when you bathed Janiyah yesterday, after the altercation, Janiyah, I'm sorry, she had blood in her mouth.
Mm.
Okay, and she washed out in the tub or in the sink?
No, she washed out the tub. I had immediately put her in.
Okay, because we have blood on the sink as well.
Well, you know, I told you I cleaned her off with some tissue as well.
So
I don't know exactly.
Is this the tissue here that you cleaned her with?
Probably not, because it would be red to me. Oops. But yeah, I don't know where this. I don't. Did you guys already get it up?
Yeah, we already could say.
Yeah.
So, and this is for the ID guys are gonna process it. So and we took your swab, right? They took your swab already. So we're gonna know your DNA, your blood, their blood, your boyfriend's blood. Is that pretty much gonna be her blood, or is that some of your blood, or?
It could be a mixture of any.
Okay.
But that towel has been sitting there, so it's like that could have been old already. You know what I'm saying?
Like old blood?
That's what I said. That tub wasn't cleaned out right.
Okay.
Because the fact that it looks like that, it didn't look like that when I put her in it.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I would have seen the bloody tub with her in it. It didn't look like that, and I think it would have been probably, I don't know.
Okay.
That's really. I mean, you guys are doing what you have to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're gonna analyze all that stuff, and that's
I don't know, man. This is crazy, bro. I know you guys probably like.
We got the doctor
Luke,
tomorrow.
you're not giving us enough
and
commentary,
we'll come talk to you guys
but
afterwards.
this is like.
All right, this concludes the interview. Same person.
This is like one of the toughest cases I ever watched, bro, in Law and Crime, because a lot of times when I watch Law and Crime, like, you know, episodes, I'm kind of like already, you know, like already seeing. I'm already seeing like the ending right before the ending is there. And honestly, bro, I think honestly from what I'm watching right now, I still don't know nothing right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, I get it. They're getting closer and closer to the truth, But honestly, it's like she's coming with a lot of like points, bro. And it's like, bro, like don't get me wrong, bro. Like I still believe she definitely probably had something to do with her. You know, I can't call her stepdaughter because they're not married, but her, boyfriend's daughter. It's deaf. But like it's like, bro, like, and then she did lie about the whole situation with the fact that she didn't bathe her the night before, and she bathed her the morning of, and the morning of was what during the bath is when she realized that the child was dead. That kind of like kind of, I wouldn't say I mean it does make her look bad, because why you lying, what I'm saying? But I get it, she's lying because she knows, she don't want to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? That point blank period. She don't want to go to jail. So she's trying to like come up with the best answer she can give them. You know what I'm saying? To kind of like make her not seem like the reason. You know what I'm saying? But then again, it's like, bro, if you didn't do anything wrong, then you shouldn't have to lie, bro. You feel me? Like you shouldn't have to lie. You should be able to tell the cops, yo, this is what happened. This is, I thought she was playing, and blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? And they would be able to see from the evidence that okay, you're telling the truth. But I can see that it's harder than what it looks, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like it's more like confusing and more like you would think like when a tragedy like this happens, it's easier to figure out what's going on. But like even with this, man, like you can't really tell, bro. You can't really tell, bro. It takes days and days of evidence building, of investigations, of discoveries to actually fully get the full picture. And even when you get all those things, bro, you don't necessarily get the full picture. There's still a lot of gray areas that might not ever get filled in. So I just hope, we can get to the bottom of this. Well, you know what I'm saying? I guess, well, let's say, I just hope they get to the bottom of this and figure out what really happened, If it's her or if maybe she's hiding something else, And we can't say she's hiding another person because, the boyfriend, he has an alibi, He has an alibi for the day before and for the day of. So it's like, the only thing that we can say is maybe, she took off. I mean, like he did what he did and took off, and she held it down for 2 hours and then called police. You get what I mean? Like, he left at, he accidentally killed his child at 5 o'clock, and then 5:45 he left, and she stayed with the child until, he, was gone, long gone, and that's when she was like, well. But I mean, it could possibly happen. Think about it. If he got on the bus at 5:47, and she was 87 degrees by then, like that's 2 hours. Maybe he did have something to do with it. It kind of I mean, and if you're in a hot bath, maybe the hot water kept the temperature high for a more extended period of time. You know what I'm saying? We don't really know. I don't really want to speculate, bro, because this is a tragedy, bro. So it's kind of like I'm trying to like be as as empathetic as possible, because I don't want someone to really be close to the family and watching me and be like, hey man, you don't sound pretty empathetic at all. You know what I'm saying? But hey, if things happen, bro, so we gotta just wait and see what happens. Let's listen to the story and see if they get to the bottom of this, man. Let's see what's going on.
To the present, the time is 17:41.
Shevhaun Miller is allowed to leave that day, and she returns to the apartment with Richard. No arrests were made on the day Janiyah died, but the following day, September 12th, she'll do one final interview on video in formal interrogation style. We'll come back to that in a moment. But Janiyah's father, Richard Davis, was also interviewed about Janiyah's death. There's no available audio or video from his interview, but I have the transcripts, which Las Vegas Metro Police charged me $600 for, and some of the information divulged in them is hair-raising, especially when combined with some of the other information I've gathered. If you recall, some of the observed damage to Janiyah's body was found on her bottom.
This is what I was waiting for, like, and I guess that's the reason why they didn't have any audio or video of his investigation. So literally, we're going off of the transcripts. So I was wondering, like, why they got just the girl. Like, why do they not have a boyfriend? You know, since it's his child, you would think, you know, they would have a segment for him as well. But now I see why. You know.
Specifically in the form of bruises, and these contusions were fresh. Because Shevhaun mentioned that Richard hits Janiyah with a belt sometimes as a form of discipline, when the detective spoke to him, they decided to go further into detail with Richard about his parenting methods. And this is where some seriously alarming information was leaked. When questioned, Richard claims the last time he used a belt on his daughter was roughly Sunday, the 8th of September. He stated that the reason was because Janiyah had a tendency to remove the diaper or clothing off the two little kids that he and Shevhaun babysit and do something he described as really strange or really bad. The transcripts are censored, so the exact details are unknown. But these two little girls were not the same two little girls that he was watching for his ex-coworker Liz. In fact, these children were the ones that Shevhaun described in her interviews as her nieces. Richard referred to them in the same manner before clarifying that they weren't actually related to him or Shevhaun, but rather belonged to a long-term friend of Shevhaun's who lived with them for a little while up until that week. This is the woman Shevhaun referred to as her sister, and her name is Dejanay Williams, or Dejanay Johnson as she's later named in court documents. According to Richard, it was Dejanay that caught Janiyah doing the really bad aforementioned stuff to her children, and she informed him about it. He claims he had to discipline Janiyah for that because it wasn't stuff she should be doing. One detective asks him, so she took off a baby's diaper and was blank? Again, I can only speculate about the censored information based on further context. Regardless, Richard answered yes, and then was asked, does she blank her own blank? To which Richard claims he doesn't know and states that he's very hands-off when it comes to girls. He doesn't even like it if he has to go to the bathroom with Janiyah and prefers that Shevhaun handle all that. It's weird and it makes him uncomfortable. At one point, Richard is asked, are you implying that at 5 she blank? Again, censored information, so we'll have to guess what's being said based on further context. Richard answers saying that couldn't be possible at Janiyah's age. He's also asked if Janiyah ever mentioned being sexually assaulted to him. He said no, but she always seemed like she wanted to tell him something. Janiyah also had trouble sleeping at night and would frequently wake up in what Richard described as a real deep sweat, not like a normal sweat. He did mention, however, that he knew she went through some stuff with her biological mother when she was younger, but that stuff was never elaborated on. As far as I know, and from what I can gather, there aren't any allegations of sexual misconduct at the hands of Janiyah's birth mom. Regardless, Janiyah was beaten by Richard with a belt for what she did to Dejanay's youngest child. By his own admission, she was struck 20 times on her bare bottom. When asked if he was upset, Richard said extremely, because what Janiyah had done, in his words, was very, very bad. He even recalled seeing visible damage begin to form on her bottom while in the process of beating her. So much so that it caused him to stop and realize it was a little too much, before making her go and stand in the corner for 30 minutes. He was also asked if he may have missed her buttocks with the belt and hit her legs, and he said possibly. Now, cops described bruising to one of her legs as so severe that it went down to the bone. It literally affected all of her leg tissue. If the bruising on her leg was caused by this spanking before she was made stand in a corner for 30 minutes, I can only imagine how much pain and fear this little girl was going through. And Richard claims he didn't use a belt on her often, but the belt that he used had no clasp or buckle. This was clearly a belt that was kept for one purpose, and that purpose was attacking someone. It was used to harm someone who seemed to be already dealing with the most horrible trauma imaginable. Trauma a 5-year-old girl should never have to face. If you ask me, this child needed help long before she was murdered. And in my opinion, she was crying out for that help. Cries that it seems to me were met with a belt. So regardless of who you think killed Janiyah by the end of this, I want you to remember what her father definitely did. Remember what he did instead of actually going and getting her help. He should have got her professional help, but instead, he tried to beat it out of her. That's a fact. How else can you describe the details that you just heard? But it might be important at this point to clarify just how Janiyah ended up in the custody of Richard Davis. About a year prior to Janiyah's death, Janiyah's
He hit her
mother
with a
called
belt
social
for 20
services on
times.
herself in Arapahoe County, Colorado, and basically admitted to being unfit to or unwilling to raise Janiyah. The child ended up in foster care at this time for a short while before Richard was contacted and informed. My understanding is that Richard flew out to Arapahoe County and visited Janiyah there while in the custody of the system. But this is where things get dark. According to sources close to the family, Janiyah claimed that her father had been touching her inappropriately during this visit. She told this to multiple people in Colorado, but nothing was done about the allegations. Social services were apparently set to step in again, but instead Richard offered to take Janiyah back to Las Vegas and assume full custody of her. Janiyah's mother agreed to the decision, and that's how the child ended up with her father. And if you think about it, this actually lines up with what Janiyah said while sitting on her grandmother's lap in the clip I showed earlier. At the time, Tirza was under the impression that Janiyah was saying, if my daddy's mean to me or if he touches me. But based on what we know now about the allegations in Colorado, I believe she was trying to say something else. Let's watch that clip again with this new context.
You gonna have fun with your daddy?
Yeah.
That's good. You can call Grammy anytime, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna give your daddy my phone number. Because I love you.
I'm gonna talk to my mommy, and then I'm talking to my mommy when he's being mean to me.
Okay. That ought to be interesting.
That's why mommy tell me don't my dad touch me. And then he's
That's
still
what kind of like
touching me.
what I want to know what the hell that man.
Hopefully he
at the house.
we won't be doing all of that, okay? And
Okay.
you just have a great time with your daddy, okay?
If I was the mother, I mean,
Tell
the
me in the
grandmother, I
comments
would
what you
ask her,
think
like,
Janiyah
what do you
meant in
mean
that
by
clip.
that? Like,
We should also remember that a sperm sample was
where do
found
you
on
mean?
Janiyah's body, a sperm fraction was found inside her body, and there were micro tears to her private area. At this point in the investigation, those samples are still being tested. We'll be coming back to all this. This is far from over, and there's more that will tie in later.
I would have asked her, bro, like, yo.
The
what
day
do
after
you- what do you
Janiyah's
mean,
death,
bro?
Shevhaun is picked up by police, taken to the station, arrested for the murder of Janiyah, and formally interrogated on video. The first thing to note before this plays is that when Shevhaun is picked up,
she got
she has
murdered
visible
off rip.
signs of injury on her body that were not there the day before. Not only were there marks on her wrists indicating potential self-harm, but she had what looked like 2 ligature marks around her neck as if something had been wrapped around it twice. Now remember, Shevhaun went home to Richard that previous night, yet it doesn't appear as though a call to emergency services on Shevhaun's behalf ever occurred. So put yourself in Richard Davis's shoes. Your 5-year-old daughter's suspicious death occurred mere hours ago. The only person with her at the time of her death was your girlfriend, and her story has changed over and over. Then later that night, while at home with you, your girlfriend attempts to harm herself. What is the first thing you would do? Would you call someone immediately, or would you do nothing other than simply wait for
How
the
you know
authorities
he's
to
not
pick
the
up
one
your girlfriend
that
the
harmed
following
her?
day? I can hazard a guess
probably
as
was
to
like,
what
"Bitch, what
most
the fuck you did
completely
to my
innocent
daughter?"
people
You know
would
what I'm
do.
saying?
Regardless, this
You
is
don't know.
Shevhaun's final statement.
You don't know if it was him that caused that. He probably tried to strangle her, try to get the truth out of her. You don't even know, bro. Stop banging your head on the wall, man. I mean, on the table, man. She knows she's getting bammed. That's what it is. She knows she's getting bammed. Then once they got the handcuffs on you, bro, it's over, bro. You already know, man. You know off rip. I'm gonna be here for a long time, bro. What is she gonna say then? Come on, bro.
Now, you remember yesterday I told you this was going to be kind of
There
a
it
scientific
Yes.
investigation.
Mhm.
You know, we're detectives, and we've done this for a long time, and we know things
There
when
it
we see
goes.
things. We're smart guys. We are. And I told you that the doctor is going to tell us what happened to this little girl. He's going to tell us what happened to this little girl. And Detective Fernandez was at the autopsy today. And I'm going to tell you right now, the injuries to that little girl are so severe, you got to explain it to me.
Can you explain to me what her injuries were, please? Because I really don't know much.
I can't explain the injuries.
Please.
She has bruising both eyes, to the sides of both face. Her mouth is cut open. She has bruising on the tops of her arms, on the back of her arms, both arms. She has bruising on the tops of her legs, on the bottom of her legs. She has bruising to her abdomen. She has bruises that are so deep that it goes to the bone.
What?
When you and I walk into a door and we get a little bruise up here, we get a little bit of a burst blood vessel up here, and that's what causes a bruise. Her bruising is so deep that the blood goes all the way to her bone.
Wow.
That baby was beat to death. No doubt about it. 100%. It's not a question.
She was
We
alive.
know
Wow.
But she wasn't tough.
Yeah, I believe you. I want her
She probably was alive.
But she didn't get to that bathtub on her own, and she didn't make it out of that bathtub. Oh, she walked to the tub?
Yes.
Okay.
She walked to the tub.
What happened on the way to the tub?
Nothing.
So,
She was in
This
the
is
tub
crazy
the
right
whole
here.
time.
minutes. The injury she sustained to her abdomen, minutes.
Minutes?
Minutes.
What do you mean minutes?
She had minutes to live.
What do you mean?
I don't know how else to explain it. She had an injury that would have killed her within minutes.
I'm confused right now.
There is nothing to confuse. She has an injury that was sustained that would have killed her within minutes.
No.
She didn't live longer than
She was
a
in
few
the
minutes.
tub. No.
I'm telling you right now, this is what's showing
She
you.
was up in the tub. As I said, she got
so
in the tub. She
she's-
was laying down.
so
and when
what
I
happened
seen
in the
her
tub?
laying down, I was just like,
Then
"Nice,
what
that."
happened in the tub?
What can possibly? I don't know. I walked off and came back and seen her like that. And like I said, the only thing that I knew of that I did was lay her over the tub. That's the most that had happened.
Shevhaun,
What?
Shevhaun, look at me. Look at me for a second. Hey.
Is this a joke?
This ain't a joke.
Are you serious right now?
That is not a joke. That is worse than a gunshot wound.
What is that?
Can you tell? It's a liver. That is not a joke. Minutes.
Shevhaun,
I'm not lying to you. We are not lying.
you gotta tell me what happened.
I'm not making this up.
I know you're not making it up, but you're not telling us what happened.
I'm literally telling you what I know.
You were the only one in the apartment with her.
I'll be back.
I'm really confused right now.
Come on.
I don't even understand that. Like I said, even when I see the bruise on her, I don't even know where that came from. Or I would have told you, oh yeah, that's where. No, I don't know where that came from.
I do.
What?
I do.
Where did it come from?
It came from you.
No, it didn't.
It did.
It did not. I'm telling you, it didn't.
You don't. It's okay.
No, it's not. I'm not gonna. No, this is not okay.
You did it, and we know.
No, I didn't.
And we know it.
What did I do?
But you have to explain to me why.
What did I do? If you know that I did that.
What did she do that was so bad?
What did I do if you know I did that to her? How did I possibly do that?
You beat her to death.
No,
you did.
no, I didn't. No, I didn't.
You did.
No, I did not.
Those injuries that we saw, that type of injury comes from car crashes, from airplane crashes, and from people to fall from extreme heights off of the top of buildings.
No.
This isn't an accident.
No, she was alive when she got in the tub. This was not intentional. She was very well and alive.
Shevhaun.
I don't know what could have possibly happened. I did not beat her to death. I did not. I really didn't.
Well, there's only 2 people in that apartment.
I didn't. I don't know how that possibly happened.
And Richard's one. That's it. And by the look of your neck, and by the look of your wrists, that's somebody who feels guilty.
That I did not do it.
Why else would you try and hurt yourself?
I didn't do enough. I thought she was playing.
I think you did enough.
I didn't help her when she should have been helped.
That's right, because that's your job to protect her.
Exactly.
And I don't know if you lost your cool, if she did something
What?
to upset you.
Oh my gosh.
But this is the time to explain it. Because
I cannot explain this.
Because the medical evidence is what it is.
Can I see the rest of the medical evidence, please?
No, well, there'll be plenty of time for that.
No, it's not plenty of time for that. No, I need to know. I need to know what else you guys, because this is really mind-blowing to me right now.
Her internal injuries were so beat up that she fled to death.
No.
Yes.
She had no plenty of time to have blood coming out of her.
Inside her belly. Inside her belly.
No.
They took so much blood out of her belly. I have never seen that much blood.
This has to be a joke.
It's not. I trust you. Listen, this is far from a joke. But once you tell me the truth, you'll feel better. I promise you'll feel better.
I cannot feel better about something I didn't do.
You did it.
No, I didn't.
Shevhaun, stop.
I'm telling you, I did not.
The time for this,
No.
this is over.
No.
It is.
No.
You told me that Richard was gone. You told me he was gone, that he checked out. He was at the clinic. We know that the injury to her liver was so severe that she died within minutes of the injury. He wasn't a department.
She was alive. She was alive. There was no reason she could have possibly died from an injury like that when she was alive the whole time in the tub until I walked off.
Tell me what happened.
I walked off from her. That was it.
No.
Yes.
The time for sticking to this story is over. You can't fight evidence. We have medical evidence that shows how she died. This isn't a game. This isn't a joke. I'm not trying to...
She had water coming out of her.
I agree. She did have water coming out of her. That's not what killed her.
So she basically beat her to death?
She bled to death.
No, she didn't.
Internal
I'm telling
bleeding.
you, no. Janiyah was alive in the tub.
That is crazy, man.
Tell me what happened.
No.
Please.
I didn't do anything.
Please explain to me why this beautiful little girl that just turned 5, she should be running around with pigtails in her hair. She should be swimming and playing with her friends.
What, 11 years old now?
We were just doing all that stuff.
She can't do that anymore.
We were just doing all of that stuff with her. That doesn't add up.
She should be doing it.
I really don't know where that. No, I don't know where that came from. I do not know.
This is the time to tell me.
I'm telling you, I don't know.
You have to tell me the truth.
I'm telling you.
Please don't let this little girl's death go unjustified.
I'm telling
Please
you.
don't do that to her.
I'm telling you.
She doesn't deserve it. She's an innocent.
There is
beautiful
no
little
way.
girl.
I'm telling you, there is no way
Help me.
that she could have possibly. I told you, the most that I know of that hurt her, she got into a scuffle. I didn't even realize she had that bruise on her stomach until that day.
Listen to me. Listen, look at me. Look at me. Hey. Shevhaun, look at me. The injury
This is crazy.
to her liver. She bled to death in a matter of minutes. It didn't happen at a scuffle out in the yard. It didn't happen from bonking her head on another kid's head.
There is no reason she could have possibly gotten an injury like that.
I know.
There is
There's
nothing.
only one way it happened.
There is no way. I'm telling you, there is no way she could have possibly gotten an injury like that. She was very well and alive and sitting up when I left the bathroom.
I see those injuries all the time.
No.
No, I do.
No.
I see children with lacerated livers
No.
all the time.
No.
I see children with lacerated small intestines. I see children with lacerated large intestines. I see children with lacerated hearts, with broken ribs, with their heads smashed.
No.
I see all that.
Wow.
That wasn't her.
And it only happens from one thing.
That was not her.
Because someone close to them,
That
someone
wasn't her.
who loves them.
No, I'm telling you.
And I believe
that didn't happen like that.
girl.
But it did not.
He's trying hard, man. I swear, boy, he's trying
But
hard
I
to get
believe
her
something
to crack,
happened
bro.
to
No. No.
And I want to.
No.
And if it was an
No.
accident, you need to tell me that it was an accident.
No, it wasn't.
You have to
It wasn't an
explain
accident.
what
That I don't know how that happened.
I do. She was beat to death.
You can't say it was by me.
You were the only one there.
I don't care who was there. It wasn't me.
Are you going to tell me that some ghost came in and did this? When there are only 2 people in a room and one person ends up dead,
obviously it's the other person, right?
You already told me this. What do I say?
I'm really trying to figure out like what is really going on right now.
I'm telling you what's going on. Text Connor's telling you what's going on.
This is
We're not
crazy.
lying to you.
I feel like somebody's lying to me.
You could think that, but you know the truth. You know.
The truth is she was in the tub. Alive.
I'm not down there.
Walked there herself.
I believe that. Something else happened though.
I don't know what. No, I don't.
Shit.
I'm
And
telling
it's going to
you.
be the hardest thing for you ever to admit.
Oh no.
It is.
I'm telling you, I'm not gonna admit something that I didn't do. That's what I'm not gonna do. There is no way. There is no way.
Then explain it to me.
Can you explain it to me?
No, I have explained it to you a couple of times.
I'm still in disbelief. I still cannot believe this. This is a joke.
Who killed that child?
I thought.
That's the truth right there.
Who killed that child?
Nobody. Like nobody should have possibly killed her.
You think that she just woke up dead?
I thought it was the tub.
You thought the tub beat her to death?
What?
When let me tell you something. Do you know what a liver is supposed to look like?
No.
Let me show you. Let me show you real quick. This is what a liver is supposed to look like. Smooth, shiny. That's the way our organs
Could that have possibly happened when I did CPR on her? Because I was pushing her whole body.
These lacerations, I told you, we see this in airplane crash victims. We see this in people that have been killed in car accidents.
No.
We see this in people that fall from great heights.
No.
Wow.
Yes. This is what it should look like. This is what it looks like after somebody has punched or stomped on somebody's abdomen so hard that it ruptures their inside.
No.
Yes.
Nobody does anything like that.
Absolutely. People do it all the time.
No.
People do it all the time.
No.
This isn't a trick.
Wow,
this
that's
is
crazy,
real.
man.
This is Janiyah's. This is her liver. I'm not making this up. I'm not making it up. You were the only one with her. That's it. Why didn't you
happened
protect
to her in that tub?
Why didn't you protect her?
Where did it happen?
Nowhere. She was fine.
She went fine.
No,
Well,
she wasn't. But you gotta help me understand, because you seem like a nice lady.
Could
I gotta know how
possibly
you were capable of doing that.
the injury sustained from the beating
I'm not. At
it
all.
just led this? I don't know, man. Let me
I'm not
stop.
capable of
Let me
doing
stop.
that.
Let me stop. Like playing devil's
I
advocate because
genuinely thought it was the water. The whole
I don't know what's going on
when
now,
I
bro.
gave her CPR, it was water
She
coming out of
she
her.
gotta be
I don't
be
understand
like
right now. I don't understand. I
clueless
thought it was-
about her
I know,
own
listen, I know you're not a monster.
anger. You know what I'm saying? Because
But
for you to
sometimes
sit
people are
there
weak,
and just
and sometimes we do things that we regret.
convince yourself that
we
you
make
had nothing to
decisions
do
that
with
we
something
can't
like that
take back.
when clearly
We do something,
it's your
there's an
fault. Like
action
I don't know, man.
that we can't take back once we've done it.
That time got to be.
And this is what happened.
I don't know.
I can't see you get.
There had to be a mix-up.
How'd you get so mad at her? What did she do?
What?
What did she do to make you that mad?
No, that's not gonna work. Cause I didn't do that.
No, you did.
No, I didn't.
There's no doubt about
It's a doubt.
it. No,
I didn't do that.
you were the only one in the apartment. Richard wasn't there. Her death occurred within 2 to 3 minutes. I'm not saying this. A doctor is saying this. A super, super smart person
There's no way.
who is a lot more
Her
educated
death
than me.
could have possibly occurred within 2 to 3 minutes. No, she was up. She was up. She was doing fine.
Is this why you tried to kill yourself last night? Is this why? I mean, 'cause I can't imagine the guilt. I can't imagine how guilty you must feel that baby died while you were taking care of her. Now, from the looks of your wrists and the look of your neck, I'm going to say you either tried to cut yourself, but just weren't able to do it deep enough. Because cutting yourself is tough. I'm going to guess that you tried to hang yourself at one point, or at least strangle yourself, so that you lost consciousness.
Her dad. It's feeling probably the same exact way, if not worse than me.
You don't have a mark.
The only difference.
You don't have a mark on his body. I just talked to him.
I know.
Talking to him the whole time.
I know.
He's in there crying, breaking down. I don't know what to do with him. He's so upset. He's beside himself. Now I talk to you. Not a tear in your eye. You've got cuts on your wrists. You've got contusions around your neck.
I'm in disbelief.
You can believe it because you tried to hurt yourself. Because you're feeling so bad about what you did that you tried to take your own life.
No, I feel bad because she was right there and I thought she was fine.
Are you right now thinking in your head, if I just keep denying this?
No, I'm not thinking that at all.
Because there's so much evidence. So much.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, what other evidence? Like,
How much evidence do you need?
I'm really trying to figure out what is really going on.
Have you ever built a puzzle?
Who haven't?
Right? You ever, like, missing a couple pieces? You're like, oh, shoot, I'm missing a couple pieces. But you can still figure out what the picture is, right? That's where we're at. I might be missing a few pieces of the puzzle. I might be missing how it happened, why it happened, where in the apartment. I might be missing some pieces. But I
don't even know what to say now.
No, I got the picture. The picture's there.
This has to be wrong.
There's nothing wrong about it. Now, if you were hitting her and you went too far, and you had, maybe you didn't realize how hard you were hitting her, or maybe you fell on top of her and didn't realize how hard you did that, that's understandable. But if you woke up that morning going, I'm going to beat the crap out of this little kid, that's a different person.
No.
That's what we need to figure out who we're talking to. Because I don't know who we're talking to right now.
It's bro. It's crazy right now. Like, I don't understand what's going on right now, bro. Because she's really sticking with it, man.
There's no amount of denial.
She's really sticking to that.
It's not about. I'm really trying to think right now. What could have possibly happened? I really am.
You're the only one that knows. You're the only one that knows. There's only two people that knew.
This is crazy.
Why you going with two people in the apartment? Shevhaun, why? Tell us what happened. Don't let this little girl's death go without an explanation. She deserves it.
I didn't.
This little girl deserves the truth to be told. You owe it to her to tell her the truth.
I didn't do it.
She called you mommy. She thought of you as her mother.
If I would have known that something like that was wrong with her, she would have been 1,000 feet away from her. It doesn't matter what could have possibly happened. It doesn't matter what could be possibly going on. As long as she's okay, that's the only thing that matters. So if I would have known that something like that severe
How would you have
was
known?
going, exactly, how would I have known?
I don't know. I didn't say you knew that her liver was lacerated, because nobody.
So if I would have known something like that was going on,
But something-
she would have been in the hospital.
But something
way
happened
sooner.
there. Something happened that caused those injuries. What do you mean way sooner? What are you talking about way sooner?
What are you talking about way sooner?
You pulled her out, you dressed her, you put her on the couch, and you didn't call her.
Exactly.
You called
That's
her.
why I said something would have been done way sooner.
When she was dead.
I didn't know.
You didn't know? How do you know?
How do I know? How do I know? I don't see
Hold on,
what
you know how I know? Because when you're on the 911 tape going, I don't know if she's breathing. I heard it.
Yes, that's what I didn't know if she was breathing or not.
I don't know.
That's not how I would have done at all.
I have the tapes. Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
We have all of this.
Yes, I know you have the tapes. I'm not confused at all about that, but I'm really confused about this. I really am.
You seem very confused.
I am.
Then why are you saying you're not confused?
I'm not confused that you have the tapes. I'm not confused that you didn't hear what was going on, but the fact that you're trying to say that I was careless on the phone said, I don't know. No, that's not right.
Are you confused about the medical evidence that we have?
Yes, I'm confused about all of this. The fact that you guys are saying it was bruises to her bones?
To the bone.
That's insane. That's insane.
There's nothing insane about this.
I don't even know.
There's nothing insane about this. You want to know what this is? This is her leg. This is the inside of her leg, and that is blood that's not supposed to be there. You want to see her arms? This is blood that's not supposed to be on her arms. Do you understand? That is blood that is not supposed to be there. Her legs are supposed to be almost milky pink. These are bruises. These are legit 100% bruises caused by an adult with a whole lot of force.
This is insane to me.
I already showed you what I need to show you. I ain't got nothing else for you.
I thought she would have got up at some point in time. Like, Mommy, I'm just kidding. That's how in disbelief I am and was about the situation.
I definitely can tell who's the more sympathetic cop because the other one, he like, I'm not having nothing to do with this woman. She's a blatant liar. But I could tell him, even though he don't believe her, he still have a little bit more empathy with the situation. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I don't know what to think right now, bro. This is crazy to me, bro. This is crazy to me, bro. Like, she gotta be lying, bro.
You know what?
Like, no matter what, she has to be lying.
She probably was okay when she got in the tub. But that's what happened after.
She wasn't in the tub that long. Nothing happened after.
Within minutes. So the dude couldn't, the father couldn't have beat her up and then went on his way. You know what I'm saying? She beat her. She beat that girl, stomped on her, threw her in the tub thinking like stomped on her. Or maybe the girl was playing.
So why wasn't water coming out
and
of her?
she stomped on her because she was playing too much.
Because it's natural. I mean, why? She was in the water. So water got inside her.
No. She was breathing. I seen her. That's what I told you guys. She was breathing in the water. That's why I told her to sit up. She sat up. And then I left and came back.
What it is she can't admit to herself
in a situation to be,
that she killed a little child. That's basically what happened. She was so rough on her.
I'm still like, damn, is she gonna come back? Is this just really a f***ing game right now?
Nah, bro, she ain't gonna come back. You killed her.
She's just gonna get up and you
know
guys
what I'm saying? I think I'm kind of like, she killed her. There's nothing we could say about that. She killed her.
She's not coming back.
She was breathing in that water. I'm telling you, she was alive.
Of course, she was probably breathing in that water, but she probably was breathing her last breaths.
And I'm telling you that for sure. Because I had to tell her to sit up and stop doing that. And she did. She was fine.
So did she get the whooping before you put her in the tub?
What?
Exactly.
She didn't get a whooping.
Exactly.
She didn't get a whooping that morning. At all. She didn't get a whooping.
Shevhaun, we've explained to you what happened.
Why do you think she got a whooping that day?
Well, if you said she was alive when you put her in the tub.
Very well.
The injury could have happened prior to you putting her in the bathtub. And then she expired while she was in the tub.
No. I'm telling you, she was up. She was up.
Well, I'm saying she could have maybe walked to the tub with that type of injury. I doubt it. You would have probably had to carry her.
No. She walked to the tub.
See, the thing that unfortunately that we're faced with, that we have to deal with, because this isn't going away.
Exactly.
It's not. This is real. This is as serious as it gets. It doesn't get any more serious than this. We have a 5-year-old little girl that loved her daddy and loved her mama. And when I say loved her mama, I'm talking about you. That little girl woke up Wednesday morning. It's like it was another day. And then sometime between the time she woke up and 8 o'clock in the morning, she died. And children just don't die. There were only 2 people inside that apartment. You and her.
There it goes. I think the truth finally about to come out, I think, man.
You're smart enough to understand what I'm talking about. You're
Finally gonna have
intelligent
to tell
enough
the
to
truth,
understand
bro.
what I've explained to you.
I don't.
It might be hard.
That she was breathing
It may
in
be-
the water.
it
I
may be-
don't.
I'm sure that it's hard to deal with.
I don't.
I get
I
that.
understand that. I don't want to believe that this.
I know you don't.
This can't be normal.
I know you don't want to believe it. I wouldn't want to believe it either. I wouldn't want to believe that I would be capable of doing something like that to a child.
I didn't. I didn't.
No, you did.
I didn't. I didn't.
And you probably think that if you continue to deny,
No, I don't think
it's
that.
going to make a difference. But it's not.
Yeah, you guys already have your mindset that it was just me.
You told me it was just you. Richard told
I
me it was
didn't
just you.
do that though.
Both of you told me that he left. He was gone. You both said that. You said that you were alone in the apartment with her.
She was fine though.
She wasn't.
She was.
No.
She was fine. She was.
Then why'd you try to hurt yourself?
I didn't do
Why'd
what
you
I
try to
needed
kill
do for
yourself?
her.
Why would you try and kill yourself? If it wasn't your fault. What?
Cause I was there with her.
So?
I thought she was sleeping.
You didn't think she'd sleep.
I genuinely thought she was
You're
sleeping.
smart enough to know when somebody's sleeping.
No, she
You're
played
telling me
right.
that
She's
you
a
don't-
playful kid.
You don't
It's
know
not
the
about
difference
that.
when someone is dead and when they're
No,
alive.
apparently not. I haven't ever been in that type of situation before, so no, I wouldn't know the difference. Like I said, she was still warm. I didn't even realize she was warm.
Shivy, I know you don't think I'm on your side, but I'm the only voice you have right now. This is it. You got me. I'm the only one that's willing to tell
I think
your
by this
story.
time she's
She was
adamant
alive.
keeping that story. So
She was
if I was her, I
So
would have
what
just
you
asked
want
for a
me to
lawyer.
believe
You know what I'm saying? Like I would have just been like, give
is
me my
that this
lawyer
poor
because you know
got the
you're not gonna
beating
change
that ended her life.
your
was
story.
beat
You know what I'm
to death.
saying? So why
The
sit
beating
there
that
and
ended
try
her
to
life.
like?
Nobody
You
knows
really
how
are you
down.
really think you're going to
It just-
change
it just happened.
the
It
mindset
happened while she was in the
of
tub,
these
and you were out
investigators?
having
They already
Because one
know
minute
you
she's
did it.
fine, and the next minute she's dead.
You know what I'm saying?
She
They already know
was
you did it, bro.
alive in the tub when she died.
So you might as well just say,
She was alive.
you know, give me my lawyer, bro, because
She
now you
was.
just
But either what? So then what happened before.
both ways.
It
If I was
doesn't- it
if I was the
doesn't change
investigator, I would have just stopped talking to
It,
her,
it
bro.
really doesn't. It doesn't.
I would have
matter
been
if
like,
she
you
was
know
in a
what?
tub. It doesn't matter
You
if
sticking
she
to
was
your
in a
story, just get
car.
up, turn around,
It doesn't
and
matter if
just
she was
hey,
laying on the couch.
you're arrested for
It
homicide.
doesn't matter where she was.
It doesn't matter because she wasn't in that tub. She wouldn't have died. If I would have walked off, she would be still here.
No, she wouldn't.
She would. She would.
Shevhaun.
She would still be here if I didn't walk off from her. If I didn't think that.
She had already bled to death.
No.
Yeah,
No.
she did.
No, she didn't.
It's not a mystery. We know what killed her.
She didn't.
She did.
She didn't.
I don't. Listen, you can say she didn't as much as you want. You can say it till you're blue in the face. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't. I'm sorry. And if that's what makes you feel better, then you can.
If she died, how could she have possibly been breathing in the water? How could she be possibly doing that if she had died?
I told you. We told you it takes 2 to 3 minutes for something like that to happen.
She was in the tub longer than 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay. So you probably, if what happened, which I'm assuming for whatever reason you got upset, and you you put that whooping on her,
No.
and then you put her in the tub trying to clean her up because she would have been bloody.
Bloody? What?
From her mouth, because she's got injuries in her mouth. She would have got a bloody nose.
What?
So you put her in the tub to clean her off.
No, that's
what people
completely
do.
made up.
Because we see it all the time.
But I didn't ever agree to or say that that's what happened.
The first time that I've seen a
I
dead
didn't at
baby.
no point in time agree to saying that happened. I didn't say that happened.
The first time that I've seen a baby with a lacerated liver, that baby died because of that. This ain't the first time. I see this all the time.
She was breathing in that water.
Well, then you whooped her before you put her in the tub.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You did.
No.
Now, I don't know if you used your feet, or if you used your hands, or how you did it, or if you struck her with an object that was inside the apartment to cause that type of an injury.
No.
But there is no doubt in anyone's mind that that child died from a beating. And like my partner said...
Are you sure?
Absolutely. 100%. Because you yourself said...
She was breathing
she
in the water.
She hadn't been in any accident. She hadn't been hurt. She didn't have no bruises the night before when you put her to bed. You all said when we put her to bed, she was just fine.
Nobody did never say that. I told you she got into a scuffle. Outside.
Oh, sure. Okay. Not that kind of scuffle.
She got into a scuffle outside.
Then she would have been dead that day. She'd have been dead that afternoon.
Yeah,
Are you telling me that you had a dead baby in your house all day and you never called the police?
She died.
No, she died in the morning. After Richard left.
No.
Yep.
No, she didn't.
Yep.
And yeah, she did.
I know she did.
She drowned.
No, she didn't. She was beat to death.
You just said that, y'all put her to bed, nothing was ever wrong with it. I
told me that.
No, I didn't. I told you she had a scuffle, and that's how she got beat up like that. I told you that from the beginning.
That didn't cause that. You said she came in with a little black eye. She had dinner, had a sandwich, y'all watched TV, you put her down on the bed. Okay. You said the scuffle was around 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Y'all had dinner and good night and put her in bed. You got her up for a bath the next day and put her in the bathtub. You said she walked to the tub.
So if I possibly
put the TV down,
did that, she would not have been up in the tub for more than 10 minutes.
Well,
if you guys are saying that was a 2-minute type of situation, no, she was up.
I mean, this is
very alive.
This is just what you're telling me. I mean, I don't know the timeline. I have to go off what you say. I know she was in the tub because her hair was wet. We know she was in the tub because there was blood in the tub. We know she was in the bathroom because there was blood on the floor. No
that
doubt.
Was old.
No doubt in my mind
prior.
when you put her in the tub. I agree.
That was
100%.
part of that. If I go run the water in the tub right now, that blue stuff is going to fill up the whole tub. And if I let it out and don't wash the tub out, it's going to fill up again.
But that's not in question. You put her in the tub. You said you put her. I believe you. I believe you did put her in the tub. I do. I do.
So are you guys trying to arrest me for murder?
You are going to be charged with murder.
Are you serious?
Yes, very serious.
I did not do that.
So at the end of the
Shevhaun
day, we
was
realized
charged with 1 count of murder and 6 counts of child abuse, including neglect or
got
endangerment
murdered. She
resulting
ended
in
up getting a
substantial
murder
bodily
charge.
harm. But Richard Davis was allowed to go home and plan a funeral for his daughter.
Wow.
Janiyah's birth mother never attended Janiyah's funeral.
That
Police
is
were also
crazy
unable
right
to
there.
obtain an interview from her. About a year later, lab results for the DNA found underneath Janiyah's fingernails confirmed that that DNA belonged to her father, Richard Davis.
Wow.
Due to the sperm fraction found inside Janiyah, he was arrested on August 17th of 2020 and charged with 1 count of murder, 6 counts of child abuse, neglect or endangerment resulting in substantial bodily harm, 1 count of SA with a minor under the age of 14, and 1 count of lewdness with a child under the age of 14. At first, the trial was going to proceed with the objective being to try the couple together, but a conflict of interest was determined and the courts decided to try the pair separately, with Shevhaun Miller's trial being dealt with first. She never testified in her own defense, but there were some key points brought up during her trial that certainly need to be addressed. So let's start with the DNA found on the child. The sample taken under Janiyah's fingernail definitely, beyond the shadow of a doubt, belonged to Richard Davis. There was no question about that. There was, however, contention during the trial as to whether or not the DNA found inside Janiyah actually belonged to Richard or was even a match for Richard. But the prosecution showed a photo and claimed that the swabs used to conduct the test took the samples from a position far enough inside the body that a towel simply wouldn't reach. What we do know is that the tiny fraction that was found inside Janiyah's body was confirmed to have 2 DNA donors. One was likely Janiyah, and the other was definitely a male, but the sample was just too small to determine exactly who the male donor was. So the test results on that could neither confirm or exclude Janiyah's father. Richard's arrest stemmed from the fact that there were no other males present around Janiyah for days leading up to her murder. But then about 8 days before Shevhaun's trial, Richard's SA charge was mysteriously dropped. There were also major disputes about Janiyah's time of death. While Janiyah definitely died in the apartment, her official death was recorded at the hospital as 8:25 a.m. Her body temperature, taken slightly before that, was 87 degrees Fahrenheit, which is significantly lower than normal. Because of this, her estimated time of death was initially believed to have been roughly 2 hours before first responders arrived. And if that was the case, then yes, Shevhaun was the only one that could have murdered Janiyah because she was the only one with her at the time. But
Or
later,
maybe that's
Dr.
what she's
Cornell
saying.
estimated that Janiyah may have actually passed 3 to 4 hours before she was pronounced dead, which means she very well could have died as early as 3:30 a.m. And that changes everything.
It does.
I wonder if the bath and the heater were simply ways to keep the body warm long enough for a monster to get offside. And while we can only speculate, thanks to the trial, we now know that could indeed be a possibility. According to the defense, neither the bat nor the belt found in the apartment, as well as other items and evidence, were ever tested, which is kind of odd, especially considering that neither Shevhaun nor Richard had any damage to their hands. And what about those boxing glove type things seen on the floor in the evidence photos? They'd certainly be a good way to protect one's hands while attacking someone else, but as it stands, they don't seem to have been tested. Another alarming thing the defense brought up was Exhibit 301, which was a video that showed Richard Davis at the Telcris Plasma Donation Center. The claim was that Richard looked visibly distraught roughly an hour and a half before he should have known anything had happened to his daughter. He was described as slouched in his chair, head down, shaking his head. He was also noted by a Telcris worker to not really have reacted much to the news about his daughter.
That's what's crazy.
It's impossible for me to watch these clips and not think there's something off about Richard. His demeanor is certainly alarming, but is that due to the context
I think he
of
the
this
one who
video,
did it, bro.
or
I ain't
the
gonna lie
lack
to
of
you, bro.
context in understanding Richard's baseline behaviors? There's no doubt in my mind that Richard Davis knew something and had something to do with this. And personally, I find his presence in these clips highly unsettling. There's no denying that Richard, by observation
lie to
only,
you, bro. I think
could
he
be
was the one that
considered
was doing
strange
it.
in his mannerisms. But strange is not
I
evidence that
think
he murdered
he probably
Janiyah.
was trying to rape his daughter. She was
Another
fighting
big
back.
thing that was brought up briefly during
He
Shevhaun's
beat her
trial
ass
was
until-
Dejanay Williams, the friend Shevhaun referred to as her sister, the one with the kids that Janiyah allegedly touched inappropriately. The prosecution had tried relentlessly to get Dejanay to respond to subpoenas, but they simply couldn't locate her. They had her name down as Dejanay Johnson, spelled like this, so who knows, maybe that had something to do with it. But suddenly on the last day of Shevhaun's trial, the prosecutor was somehow able to locate Dejanay and talk her into testifying that morning. In the 3 years leading up to the trial, no one had ever interviewed this witness about the murder. According to the prosecution, Dejanay said she had babysat Janiyah in the apartment on the Saturday before her death and hadn't noticed any injuries on the child. But she did state that she found Richard weird and that he made her uncomfortable. But at the time, she needed a place to stay, so, in her words, beggars can't be choosers. Dejanay also allegedly told the prosecution that on multiple occasions, Richard Davis would turn the TV up and discipline Janiyah in the other room. Dejanay described how she could still hear Janiyah screaming over the noise, but she wasn't exactly sure what Richard was doing to her.
He was
However,
raping her, dog.
she went on to note that Shevhaun had recently told her she wanted out of the relationship, and she was tired of watching Richard's child and being responsible for her. The prosecution alleged that Dejanay heard Shevhaun say she would kill Janiyah. Not only that, but there was evidence submitted before a grand jury in the form of an anonymous Crime Stopper tip that also claimed someone was going to kill Janiyah. There's no proof, but the prosecution seemed to think that person was Dejanay. The prosecution also mentioned several jail phone calls between Shevhaun and Dejanay until suddenly, Dejanay decided to sever contact with Shevhaun for good. The jail phone calls were recorded somewhere, but I was unable to obtain them. Due to objections by the defense, Dejanay Williams was not allowed to testify at Shevhaun's trial. Also submitted into evidence was a text message from Shevhaun to Richard days earlier stating, "Your daughter is the devil." Shevhaun Imani Miller was convicted of first-degree murder and child abuse resulting in substantial bodily harm. She was sentenced to serve 20 to 50 years behind bars. She's currently serving time in the Florence McClure Women's Correctional Facility in Las Vegas, Nevada. Richard Davis was eventually released on bail, and I haven't been able to find a single update on his case.
If you all had known my grandbaby, you would totally love her. She loved her siblings like she loved her siblings. The world is gonna miss out. They're already missing out on the beautiful soul that she was. She'd have been 10 years old. And I wonder what would she have looked like? How long would her hair be? Because she has so much hair. It was crazy. Like, I'm low-key jealous, but she has so much hair on her little tiny head. But I just wonder, would her hair be longer? Would she have wanted it cut? Like, I just all of it. What would she be into? Like, all this stuff that I think about. And I don't know. There's no answer. There will never be an answer for it. At some point, my daughter, Janiyah's mom, confided in us that Richard had physically put hands on her abusively. And I'm just like, what? I remember one time he was telling us about a fight that he had. And he beat this person down so bad that out of his own mouth, he said, "My hands are registered weapons in the state of Nevada." And I was like, wow, that to me was a red flag. This person make you angry and you just took it out. Like, I don't know. I don't remember the details. I just remember that phrase that he said, and it kind of blew my mind. I kept that in the back of my mind all these years. I just remember that when she made the decision to send Janiyah, everybody was against it because I couldn't understand why my daughter didn't call me to be like, can you help me with the girls? Because if I had to get a second job or whatever I had to do to help her, I would have made myself available to do that. Richard wasn't in Janiyah's life, and now all of a sudden, you want to take care of her and this, that, and blah, 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 which I didn't understand. It's like, you've been gone and away for 4 years now. My daughter's been pretty much doing this on her own with intermittent help from me as I understood where she was at. And now you want to show up? What's that about? Like, what do you have to gain from this? Well, then we found out that he had a girlfriend, Shevhaun. I didn't know her, had never met her, didn't know anything about her. But my daughter did tell me that Shevhaun had had a miscarriage. And then I found out from, in the strangest way, Shevhaun's mom, after the trial, that Richard had beat her and she lost the baby. So Shevhaun's mom told me that. And they let my grandbaby go from Colorado to Las Vegas illegally. The state of Colorado wasn't even supposed to let her come back here because they were the custodians at the time. So she wasn't even supposed to come. No paperwork was done. No, nothing was done. They dropped the ball. They totally dropped the ball. They did not do what they were supposed to do. Now she's in the grave. He could have just sent her back to Colorado. I would have went and picked her up. I would have picked her up. You wouldn't have had to twist my arm. You wouldn't even have to convince me. None of that. I need to come get you. I'll be there tomorrow. And would have left immediately. So her death was unnecessary, except for revealing who Shevhaun and Richard really are. The next time I had heard anything about Janiyah, her welfare, her well-being, was the day I got the phone call from social services, 15 days after her birthday. She was killed. She was beaten to death. She didn't even get to be 5 years old and start school. Her funeral was on September the 24th of that same year. And I would have liked to have participated, but it seems that Richard and his family took control over the whole thing. They didn't want us to come to the wake. Like, none of that. It's like, what is wrong with y'all? I didn't have any information. Like, I hounded him on Facebook. I need to know when the funeral is because I'm coming. If you think for 1 minute that you're going to bury my granddaughter and I'm not going to be there, you got life and the other stuff completely mixed up. So he finally gave me the date and the time. And so I wanted my daughter to be there. She was going to come, and then she didn't. She was going to come. I had $400 to my name, and I said, I will buy you a plane ticket right now. But she said, Mama, if I go, I don't trust myself. So me and my mom and Sarah and her best friend went to the funeral. And some people are like, well, why didn't her mom come? Why didn't her? You know what? Don't knock it until you've been there. And I wasn't angry with her for not showing up. I was able to speak at the funeral on her behalf. So we get to the funeral. Richard is standing there. You know, oh, tears. And I'm thinking, I gave him a little side hug because I wanted to feel his spirit. And my mom, she wasn't hugging. She was like, no. She didn't ever like him either. So she certainly wasn't going to give him a hug. So I gave him a little side hug, a little pat, whatever. And it was so fake. It felt fake to me. And that may be harsh, but I was there. It felt fake. And so we're sitting there during the service and the whole thing, and then Richard goes up to the casket and he's I'm looking at him like, bro, this don't feel right to me. This feel like you had something to do with it. And in my opinion, he did have something to do with it. We went to the trial, and I knew it was going to be intense. I knew it was going to be graphic. I knew it was going to be a lot of what most people may not be able to handle, but I needed to know what happened to my granddaughter, because it wasn't no freaking her heart stopped. Well, yeah, her heart stopped because she was beat to death. That's why her heart stopped, but it wasn't because she had a heart attack or some heart complications. Don't get me twisted, because it didn't make any sense. So we get to the trial, and we hear all this testimony about the stuff that happened to her, and I am floored. She wasn't just beat. Like, when they showed a picture of her liver, and then they said it is a lacerated liver, the pathologist said it wasn't just like she got, like, maybe punched in the stomach. It looked like someone had stomped on her, and her liver looked like mush. So, all the details after that, I mean, it was just more and more and more. The bruising all over her body, from her from her neck, all the way down to her ankles. And I'm thinking, you all are trying Shevhaun. And she, as far as I'm concerned, foolishly took the rap for it. Where was Richard in all this? Her daddy. Okay, the one that seeded the egg. Where is he at in all of this? Because something in my maternal mind, as a mother and a grandmother, could not possibly calculate or compute the fact that this one woman did all of this. And I still don't fully believe it wasn't. Oh, yes, she's culpable for sure, because she was there and didn't do nothing to stop it. But I don't think it was her. I don't. So we get through the trial. We literally
That's kind of
watch
how
them
I feel too.
take my granddaughter apart a little bit at a time. Like,
I think she's
we saw
covering
the
up for
inside
him.
of her ribs where she had hemorrhaged because they were broken, and some, if I remember correctly, had broken and healed, and fresh fractures and things like that. And I'm thinking, and then I remember when Richard said to me, my hands are registered weapons with the state of Nevada. That never left me. And it came back screaming loud and clear. I was glad that she was found guilty, but it still didn't sit right in my soul and my spirit that it was all her, because it wasn't. There's no way. But see, that's where my faith comes in handy, because I know that the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, he gonna get the final say. I don't care what nobody say.
I
So
think they should have.
we have prayed,
went after the
me and Sarah,
boyfriend.
that God would deal with Shevhaun's heart. Don't give her no peace. Don't give her no rest until she speaks the truth out of her mouth. Until the absolute truth comes out, there's going to be no justice. There will be no justice for Janiyah. But the paramedics said that her hair was not wet. Now,
Exactly.
if you know anything about black people's hair, when it's in braids, Janiyah's hair was braided, and it gets wet, it takes a minute for it to dry.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, unless you got like super thin hair, when it's braided and cornrow, it takes a minute for it to dry. So by the time the paramedics arrived, if she had truly been in the bathtub and drowned, her hair would have still been wet. And he said her hair was not wet.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was like key to the fact that this situation did not happen in no water in the bathtub.
Nope.
Not like that. So we heard a lot. We seen a lot. The stuff that might give some people nightmares. So yeah, that's what happened to my grandbaby. But in my heart, it's not over. It's not over until the truth comes out. Because I need to know what part Richard played in Janiyah's death.
You know, it's been 3 years since I first heard the name Janiyah Russell. It's been a lot of tracking down documents, evidence, USB drives getting lost in the mail, multiple times I might add, and even refusals of FOIA or open records requests for various reasons, including Shevhaun Miller's appeal, which was recently rejected. I've spent so much time researching this little girl's case and her life that even I feel like I should have been at her funeral. It's a horrible case, and cases involving children always stick with me. And this one specifically reminds me so much of Fallon Friedli's murder. For those of you who haven't seen my video on Fallon Friedli, there's so many similarities between these two cases. Kirsty and Shevhaun were both supposed to be babysitting the little girls that were found murdered in their care. Both crimes involved a bathtub. Both crimes involved severe liver injuries and bellies full of blood. Both cases involved adults who went for a smoke during crucial moments. Both cases involved neglecting to provide or call for aid when it mattered most, when it was obvious the children wouldn't survive without it. And then when it comes to the interrogations, if you ever question whether or not Shevhaun is guilty based on hers, just let me show you what a guilty person looks like. This is Fallon Friedli's murderer, Kirsty Flood.
According to the doctors in the ER,
Yes.
her belly is full of blood. She's got an injury to her liver, her spleen, and her colon.
Oh my God, stop.
She's got bruises all over her body.
Stop.
She's got bruises all over her head.
Oh my, I can't even believe. How exactly? How would that even have happened? No, that is extremely confusing, and the only thing that I could even think of is if she tripped.
So her tripping and falling would not cause those injuries.
I don't even understand.
So tell me how this happened.
Neither of us are violent people. That doesn't even make sense to me how that would even happen. But I would never lose my cool.
That's crazy, bro, because I let you know right there that
to that little girl. And you are not about to ruin my life over that. How?
You tell me, I wasn't there.
All over her head.
You want to see the picture of the baby?
All over her head. Do you know that accidents happen all the time?
I do, because I have 4 kids.
Exactly my point.
If she hadn't been caught on her own home surveillance system, she might still be free. She makes a lot of the same statements Shevhaun made, and she's adamant of her innocence. I've actually connected Janiyah's grandmother and Fallon's mother. I hope that connection will be fruitful and help them heal from their losses, knowing that they aren't
and
forced
she
to
literally
face them
throwing
alone.
the baby, bro.
If
That's
you
what's
ask
so
me my
crazy.
opinion, I think Shevhaun and Richard both did this.
That's
and if
what
they
I
did,
think.
I hope they rot for it. I'll be campaigning for
That's
Shevhaun
exactly what I
not to be
think,
released.
man.
In fact, I'll be starting a petition, and I'm eagerly waiting for Richard's day in court. There's so
That's why
much
you
more to
can't-
this,
you can't-
even
that's why you
just with
can't
my
really
involvement.
plead.
I've spoken to other people close to this case, and I even have conversations with some of them recorded. Hell, I've even spoken to Shevhaun's.
That's why you can't really believe someone's plea for because she like you if you're not a trained investigator, you would want to at least want to believe Shevhaun, right? Because just the way she was acting, you kind of felt like sorry for her a little bit. But watching the guy kind of break down what a guilty person does, even though they don't want you to think they're guilty, clearly shows you that only a trained investigator knows how to find a guilty person. And honestly, I think if I was one of those investigators, I probably would have failed at it because I would have probably been like, is she telling the truth or she lying? I would have been in the middle of it. I would have been. It would have been hard for me to believe, somebody would be capable enough to, do something like that and like, just lie completely, lie to my face about it and not have no type of remorse, like killing their spirit, bro. Like, don't get me wrong, she did try to kill herself, but just look at the other case, bro. You could literally see the baby getting thrown, bro. Like, and of course it's a photo, but it's probably a video. You know what I'm saying? So that clearly shows you that you can't believe what certain people say, bro. They'll lie to their T, bro.
Its own mother, who makes some pretty outlandish claims, and who knows, maybe she's right. I can't speak about all those here on this channel though, but along with some of Janiyah's family members that care, I've started a Facebook group called Justice for Janiyah Russell, and I'll be discussing these other things in much more detail there. In fact, I've been exchanging letters with Shevhaun Miller. I've got some phone calls from her too. Join me on the Justice for Janiyah Russell page, or on my own new true crime channel, One Crime TM, to find out more and show your support for finding answers to this tragedy. My final notes on this case are as follows. Janiyah Russell was let down by this world. Almost everyone that was supposed to protect and love her either abandoned or abused her, and she had only just turned 5. When she was beaten to death, so many people stayed silent. When she was crying out for help, clearly dealing with some kind of trauma, ears turned deaf. So many refused to speak out in time, or for some even at all. Very few cared about Janiyah. Almost every news article on this case would nearly fit inside a few fortune cookies. This world simply didn't deserve a smile like Janiyah's. She had no one fighting for her. But I think that just changed because you and I now know what we know. And I can bet my bottom dollar that once overlooked, Janiyah Russell will never be forgotten. Rest in peace, little girl. And to those who harmed her, stood by and did nothing to save her while she suffered. To those who failed to seek justice in her name, I hope you never close your eyes again without hearing whispers from the water she took her final breaths in. I'm Mr. Black, and this is the disturbing truth.
Is there anybody else in the room? Wait, Spirit.
All right, so that was the end of it, man. It's crazy, man. Like, I'm kind of still left speechless on how this thing played out. I'm thinking, at the end of this, we would have the definitive answer to this tragedy. You know what I'm saying? And normally when I watch, Law and Crime, normally we kind of get the end, but this is still kind of like ongoing. I mean, yeah, I know definitely the girlfriend got, charged with murder, but honestly, I feel just like the mother. I honestly don't think she did it on her own. I honestly think he must have beat his own daughter to the brink of death, and his girlfriend just covered it up for him. I don't think she was bathed. She was bathed. I think what probably happened was, he must have came home from work or came home from whatever he was doing, probably, stressed out, and, she must have, caused him to, I mean, there's nothing she could have done, really, you know, I don't want to justify the reaction of, of something to justify, what he did to her, but, she could have, been a normal 5-year-old child, and he took his anger out on her, and like how, what they were saying was she did have, some vaginal tears, and they did find DNA of different people. They couldn't get a definite DNA sample. But honestly, I think he probably, and what really kind of like stuck out is the friend. The friend said that when he would beat her, he would lock himself in the room with her, and she would be screaming. So honestly, I think he was doing. I think there was a Lifetime movie about this. How I remember there was a Lifetime movie where a father would discipline his kids by anally raping them, and I'm not trying to like be trivial with this situation, but I think honestly think this was even a true story where I mean if you was born around the time I was born, Lifetime movies was popping back in the days. A lot of women used to watch Lifetime movies, and a lot of them was based on true stories. You know what I'm saying? And I think this was somewhat similar to me where the dad, whenever his kids was bad, he was disciplined them by you know anally like going into the bathroom with them and anal raping them, and the mother and would always never knew what was going on because he was always locking them behind closed doors, and of course the kids wasn't telling on their dad, and and I remember the dad was this big I would like he was like a high school football coach, and I think the kids were definitely I think he was very I think it was a very small town, right? And then I think he was winning a lot of the games, so I think he was I wouldn't say he was well known, but he was a very popular guy in the small town because he was the football coach, and it was, for a winning team. So I think that's another reason why they kind of kept their mouth shut. But eventually, one of the girls, told on her father. You know what I'm saying? And then that's when it all came out. And honestly, this case brung back those memories about that, and because it's just kind of like woke up in my mind, like something just clicked when they said that the cousin, I mean, not the cousin, but the friend of the girl was like whenever he was disciplining her, he would discipline her inside of a closed behind a closed door, and he would put the TV up. That's what kind of like shocked me a little bit because why do you need to do all that? I do think spanking your children every once in a while is not a bad thing, right? But if you have to put the TV up and lock the doors, then you most likely your version of spanking is probably too rough already, and I think that's probably what happened. I think and honestly, I think he probably was raping her too. I think he was raping her, and he was I think he was raping her, and I think he was beating her. And one night he came home and did it too rough. He went overboard from normally what he normally does, um, eh, and sorry for that, man. I'm trying to do this, professionally, but I'm always getting interruptions. But yeah, so like I was saying, I think he went overboard, and from his normal methods, and the girl must have been like, I got you, they're together. She must have been, I got you. Just what do you do? What do you do? And he must have ran away, and because he took off, she was like, well, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to, maybe maybe she was trying to revive her, and he left because she was probably like, go, leave. And she probably was like, man, she's probably fine. She's probably fine. I'm just, I'm gonna just go, and I'm gonna see if she's gonna spring up out of nowhere. Maybe she wasn't dead, 100% when he left, and she probably died in the girlfriend's hands. But the injuries that she sustained was from him. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what happened. I don't think she physically did anything to that girl. I really don't think so. I think he physically beat his child, right? Because they found the DNA under her nails. They found DNA of him. They didn't find DNA of her. You know what I'm saying? So I think he physically beat his child, and his child was trying to him, uh, fight him off of her, and she must have thought, this is how he disciplined his child. I'm not, gonna step into that, not knowing that he was going overboard. And then when he realized he went overboard, he took off, and she was left with the mess. But honestly, if that was me, and if that was happened, and that was happened, I would have just called the cops on him, and I would have just told the truth. And I think that's where she felt that she tried to get away with it, and she tried to make him get away with it. And I think that's where she messed up at, and that's when she became the accomplice, because she tried to cover it up. If she had just said, "Yo, this dude did it," I'm only been with him for a few months, I don't know what happened, then she probably would have been out. But because she went along with it, I think that's where she messed up at, man. A lot of people might be like, "Well, no, Lou, you don't know if she did it. Look at the lady." That's true. She could have been the one that caused it as well. But honestly, I feel like when they found his DNA under her nails, I think that sealed the case right there. I think he's the one who did it, and she just took the charge for him. That's what I think, you know. So guys, like, subscribe, um, comment, you know, share if you need to. I'm gonna put the original link of this video in the bio. I mean, the description. So if you want to watch it without my commentary, then you can. Uh, this is just crazy, man. There's nothing I can say about this. This is just a tragedy, especially when there's a kid involved. Murder is never good, but it's when the kid involved, it just hits at a whole other level. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry for the interruptions. I'm trying to get this all worked out. I'm trying to get this platform in a way where it's going to be a little bit more comfortable for me and you guys to watch. So next time I should definitely, I should definitely be a lot better. But whew, like, subscribe, Lou Huru reviews, man. I definitely will have another video soon, guys. So keep in tune, stay in tuned, and peace out.